Hi there and welcome. I want to update this Mailchimp course, and I originally created the course in 2015, and even though I've been updating the videos with every change in Mailchimp, I've decided that I'm going to create this course from scratch. So I'm going to look at everything that we looked at and even add more. So this is going to be a real life course. I'm going to set up a test website, and I'm going to show you how you can embed forms so that you can collect leads on those sites. And then we're also going to look at different things in Mailchimp, all the other forms in Mailchimp, all the other features. I'm going to do an overview of what we're going to look at in upcoming videos. But as for now, I just wanted to let you know that this course will be updated from scratch, and I'm going to recreate the entire videos. I'm going to recreate the entire course. I'm going to create a new Mailchimp account, and I'm just going to create everything from scratch. And we're going to look at every feature that you should know about in Mailchimp. So by the end of this course, you're going to be a Mailchimp expert. I can assure you that, because you're going to look at everything that you can do in Mailchimp and how you can use it for your email marketing. So maybe you want to use it for your own email marketing, or you just want to add Mailchimp as a skill set to your email marketing skills or your digital marketing skills. This course will help you achieve any of that. If you're already familiar with Udemy, then you don't need to watch this video. But if you are not familiar with Udemy, then this will be your course dashboard. And you can just click here to start watching the videos. You can also continue from where you left off. When you click here, it will take you to where you left off. And if you ask any questions, or if you want to see questions that have been asked, you can just come here and click on Q&A, and you'll also be able to ask your question. And if you bookmark any videos, you can find them here under bookmarks, and we're going to look at how to bookmark in a moment. And you can also look at all the announcements that I've made in the course in the past. So you just click here and you'll see all the announcements. And if you want to leave or edit your review, you can just click here. So I'm an instructor, I cannot review my own course, so you'll be able to click somewhere there. For me, if I click here, it's going to take me to all the reviews. Let me just click here so that you can see how the videos will look like for you. So the videos will be like this, and you can see we have different things here. If you hover, you bring your mouse here, you can see that you can go back to the dashboard, and if you go back to the dashboard, it will take you back to the window where we've just come from, and that's the dashboard. And if you want to bookmark, if you come across something that you think you may need to refer back to in future, you can just click here on add bookmark, and the bookmark will be added. And if you go to the dashboard, you can click on bookmarks and you'll see your bookmark there. And then here also, if you want to go back and leave a review, you can just click on go back to dashboard and you leave your review like I showed you where to. And if you want to look at all the course content, you can just click here and it will bring all the course content for you. And you can see these are different sections. These are sections. If you click, it will show you the videos, and you can jump around to any video that you want to jump to. Okay, so you can come here and change the quality depending on your internet connectivity. So that's pretty much it for this video. You can also speed up the video if you want to, or you can rewind 5 seconds in the video if you want to. And if you want to create a question about this video, you want to ask a question specifically about this video or the course entirely, you can just click on browse Q&A, and you can see questions which were asked based on this video. And you can also click here to ask your own question, and I will be able to help you. All right, so if you need any help, click here, ask your question, and once you've watched a few videos, make sure you go to the dashboard and leave your review. Udemy will definitely prompt you to leave your review. If you think that it's too early, then you can just ignore it for the moment and leave it later. Or if you're satisfied, you can leave the review there and then. So that's it for this video. And in the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through what we're going to cover in this new updated Mailchimp course. So I will see you in the next video. Hi and welcome back. So in this video, let's see what you're going to learn in this Mailchimp course. So I've decided that I'm going to recreate the entire Mailchimp course. I'm going to use new material, new videos, and everything is going to be brand new. So that means that I'm going to add the videos slowly. One section I will be adding the videos step by step. All right. So the things that we're going to cover in this Mailchimp course are, of course, I'm going to start from scratch, and I want to start from scratch by creating a new account. So I'm going to go into Mailchimp, I'm going to register, and if you don't have a Mailchimp account, I suggest that you also create yours at the same time that I will be creating mine, so that you can follow along with me. After following along with me, if you have any questions, you'll be able to ask me, and I do suggest that you follow along with me, and in the end you'll learn Mailchimp. Mailchimp is very easy to use, very easy to learn. All right, after creating the account, we're going to look at lists, and under lists, I'm going to show you how you can import the various lists that you have. So let's say, for example, that you're moving from a different email marketing platform. In this section, I'm going to show you how you can import your contacts into Mailchimp. And once we're done with this section, the last video I'm going to do in this section is I'm going to do a brief video just to show you how you can send campaigns to those subscribers that you already have on your list. I will also cover campaigns later on, but that will just be for you if you really want to know how to do it immediately, and I will cover that when I get there. And after we look at lists, we're going to go into forms, and there are different forms in Mailchimp. We'll look at all of them. We'll look at how you can embed forms on your site, whether you're using WordPress, you're using a plain HTML website, Squarespace, Shopify. I'm going to show you how you can add the forms. If you don't want to use any kind of plugins, I'm going to show you how you can add the forms there manually. Or if you don't have a website, you can also use the forms on Mailchimp, and I'm going to show you how to get the link so that you can just share it on your social media. And if your page has over 1,000 followers, you can add the forms to your Mailchimp. So that's something that Facebook recently changed. You have to have at least 1,000 for you to do certain things on your Facebook page, and I think that's one of them. For GetResponse, that is true. For Mailchimp, I'm not sure, but I think that's the case as well. So under forms, you have to note that there's the big deal of GDPR. So if you intend to target the European Union, then you will have to implement GDPR, and I'm going to show you how you can implement GDPR on your forms. And Mailchimp has also made this easy for certain forms, but for certain forms it still doesn't exist. So I'm going to show you workarounds that you can use to make it happen for you on your form. Once we're done with forms, we're going to go into templates. So under templates, we're going to see how you can create different templates. If you want to create beautiful, responsive templates without any coding, I'm going to show you how to use the Mailchimp drag and drop editor. If you want to show certain dynamic products from your store, I'm going to show you how you can do all of that, but some of this will only be available under certain campaigns. Once you look at templates, that will be a gateway to most things in Mailchimp, because once you know how to create templates, you can literally do most of these things in Mailchimp, like creating landing pages, almost similar to creating templates. And you'll also be able to create campaigns using beautiful templates. You'll also be able to create automations, because all these rely on templates. So once you're done with that bit about templates, you're going to go into campaigns, and under campaigns, nowadays we have landing pages under campaigns. You can create landing pages, you can create automations, and you can create the regular campaigns. So we're going to look at all of that when we get there. And then once we're done with this section, we're going to see anything else that's remaining in Mailchimp, and we're going to look at all those. So I will be looking at different things, and I will be making sure that by the end of this course, you are an expert in Mailchimp. And I will try my best to make sure that everything is done in short videos that are easily consumable. And then if you have any questions, of course, I will be here. You can ask me any questions. And everything will be done using the Mailchimp drag and drop editors, so you don't have to be a programmer or a coder to understand some of these things. The only coding that I'm going to do will be showing you how to use CSS to customize the appearance of your forms if you embed them on your site. I think that's the only CSS I'll do. If there's anything else, then I'll cover it there and then and make sure you understand it. So if you do have any questions at any time during the course, feel very free to let me know. And in the last video, I showed you how you can create the questions how you can ask questions. So if you're inside of the videos, there will be an area with Q&A, and you can just click on it and ask a question, or you can come here under Q&A. And if you come here under Q&A, you can click here to ask a question, and you can see it's very easy. So that's it for this video. In the next video, we're going to get started. And the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go into Mailchimp and I'm going to create an account. So if you don't have a Mailchimp account, go ahead and create yours along with me. I will see you then. Hi and welcome back. So I'm here on Mailchimp.com, and if you don't have an account, just go ahead and sign up with me. Okay, so you'll just click here on sign up to sign up. If you already have an account, just log in and we'll continue with you in the next video. So to sign up, just click here, sign up. And of course, you need to fill in all these details. Just make sure that your password is this way: lowercase, uppercase, special character, 8 and 1 number. Once you enter your details, just click on get started and then your account will be created. Just fill in your details and click here. Of course, the next step, you need to activate your account, and to do that, you'll just have to go into your inbox and then click on the activation link that has been sent to you, and then click on activate. So you have to register your details here. I'm going to create a website with this title, so that's why I want to do that. So the sample website I'm going to create will be test.bizanosa.com. If you don't have a website, you can use your Facebook or your Twitter URL. Just add that. You can use your Facebook or Twitter URL. You can add that in there. Or you can create a website on wordpress.com and just add that here. Or you can create a website on Blogger for free. Just add it here. Then click continue. And then of course, you need to add your address and all these other details. And then continue. So does your business sell anything online? So if I click yes, I can go to the next step. Let's just click and see. Then you can connect your Facebook or your Twitter, but I'm not going to do that. I'll just click on continue. You can also subscribe to receive the Mailchimp newsletters, and this is just a nice way for you to stay informed of what's new in Mailchimp. Like if they create new features, they normally send out newsletter alerts. So if that's something that you're interested in, you'll just click here. I'll click let's go. All right, there we go. That's your Mailchimp account. So if you know how to use Mailchimp already, you can just click on lists to import your list and then click on create, and here you'll be able to create campaigns, landing pages, and so much more. And we're going to start looking at all these features in the next video. So I will see you in the next video. At this point, if you have any question, just feel free to let me know. I will see you in the next video. Hi and welcome back. So as soon as you create your account, you're going to land on the Mailchimp dashboard, and on the dashboard you're going to see an overview of how your email marketing processes are going on. So for example, if you get new subscribers, then you're going to see that the number changes here. You're going to see like if you have from where they signed up, all of that will be here. But right now I don't have a list. I don't have anything on my account. I've just created it. So that's why everything is a goose egg. And then campaigns, if there were campaigns, I would see how the campaigns, I would see some stats about the campaign, some statistics about the campaign. But right now I don't have any campaigns. And down here you can also get helpful stuff. So you can just click on them and see what each of them has. You can also click here to go and search the knowledge base. The Mailchimp knowledge base is very, very intuitive. It has lots and lots of tutorials. And if there's anything that you don't know how to do, you can just click here and go and learn more about it on the Mailchimp knowledge base. Let's look at these links which are up here. They have these buttons here and you can just click on it to start creating your campaigns. You can create an email campaign, and under email campaigns, you're going to see how to create regular campaigns. We are also going to see how to create automations. And then we also have landing pages, and we're going to see how to create landing pages. I'm going to create at least 2 landing pages so that you can learn how to create landing pages well. And then you can create an ad, but I don't really see the need for me to create an ad on Mailchimp while I can easily do the same on Facebook. So if you want to check this feature, just go ahead and do it. But in this course, I'm not going to touch on it. I'll close that. And this also does the same thing. It just brings you here where you can create a campaign. Under campaigns, if I click this link of campaigns, this is what is going to show us all the campaigns, all the automations, all the landing pages that we've created in the past. So if you have one which you created, the most recent will be here, the ongoing ones will be there. Then if you have drafts, the ones which I've completed will be there. You can also create folders and group them based on how you want them to be. If you want to go back to the dashboard, you'll just click on the Mailchimp icon there. So we also have templates, and under templates, you can create different types of templates. So if you want to create a template, this is where you'll do it. And once we have templates, once we start creating templates, we're going to save some of those templates, and you're going to see that the templates that we save will be listed here, and you can reuse them for as many campaigns as you want. So if I click on create template, this will enable me to choose the type of template that I want to create depending on the kind of campaign that I want to send. So I can start from scratch, and I'm going to show you how you can use all of this. And then themes are ready-made templates, and you can just choose something and start editing it. So if you click on any of these templates, you can just go ahead and start editing them. You can change the images, you can change the content, and all other blocks that will be available within the theme. So we've said you can create a theme, you can start from scratch using the layouts, and with this you can also just choose them based on these categories. And then you can also have code your own. So under code your own, maybe you have a template that you downloaded. You can import it as a zip file, you can import the HTML, or you can just paste in the code of that HTML. And I'm going to see if I can get some templates, and I'm going to show you how to deal with all of this, how to work with all of this. So once you click on the template, you'll go to the next step and you can design it. So you'll just go to the next step and you can start designing it. But in my case, I'm just going to click on back to templates. So we also have the content manager, and this is for you. If you want to add PDF files, you want to add images, you can just add them here. Maybe you want to create an ebook and give it out for free using Mailchimp. And you can easily do that by just coming here. You upload your content, you can upload images, you can upload PDFs in here, and if you want to use them on your forms, you will use them later on. And I'm also going to import a few things in here. I'm going to upload some images which you can use on our landing pages, and so much more on our Mailchimp journey, like creating forms and so on. So we are going to see how to work with all of that when we get to that point. So you also have lists, and lists, of course, are very important in Mailchimp. These are your subscribers. You can have multiple lists, but in this case, I'm going to show you how to create different groups and subscribers in the same list, but you can create as many lists as you want to. Maybe if you have different businesses and you want to use the same Mailchimp account, you can just do that. So you can create a list just by clicking there, and we're going to look at more features about lists once we get to lists. For now, you can see this list has been created for us automatically because this is the business that we signed up with. And now I will click on reports, and under reports, you can see how the various lists, how the various campaigns that you've sent are performing, and so much more. So all of that, you can look at them here. You can see we have automations, we have landing pages. You'll be able to look at all the reports for them here. Like if you send a campaign, it will be listed here, and you can click on it and view all the activities that have occurred after you sent the campaign out to your subscribers. So you'll be able to view all of that right here. So one other thing that I want to talk about before I end the video is about APIs. There are various plugins that when you want to use them, they will need your API key from Mailchimp. So to get the API, you'll just come here under your name, and you can see you have your profile and all this. You can click on all of this just to look at them. If you want to get your API, you'll just go into account, and then here under account you see you have different things. You can also change your billing settings. You can change all these other settings. Users, so users, if you want to give someone else access to your account, you can create that here. You can verify your domains here. You can add a domain and verify it, and then we want to see how you get the API key. You'll just come here, you'll click on API keys. Under extras, you'll click on API keys, and you can see you have the API keys. You can read about this, the API key, and if you're a developer, you can register and manage your app right here. But we're not going to look at coding in Mailchimp. We are going to look at how to use Mailchimp, and once in a while we'll use some CSS here and there and HTML, but that will be pretty much it. So if you want to create a new API key, you'll just create a key, and you can add your key in whichever plugin or whichever module or application is requiring that key, that API key from you. So that's it for this video. And in this video, what I've done is I've taken you through a quick overview of the Mailchimp dashboard, as well as these tabs which are up here. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And in the next video, we're going to start by working with lists. I'm going to start by lists, and I'm going to show you how you can import. If you want to import a new list, you're going to see how you can import your lists. So I'll see you in the next video. Hi and welcome back. In this video, let's start looking at lists in Mailchimp. Lists are basically your contacts, your subscribers. So everything that you have to do with your subscribers, everything that has to do with people that sign up on your list, whether on your website, using the forms that you add on Facebook, or your sign up forms on Mailchimp, all those will be listed here. Let's just go right ahead and see what we have under lists. And in this video, let's just do an overview of options that we have under lists in Mailchimp. If I had multiple lists, they would all be here. So you can create a new list, and when you create a new list, it will also be listed here. So let's say I click on create a new list. I can give the list a name and all these other details, but I'm going to create lists later on, and we're going to look at all of this. But for now, I'm just showing you that's how you can create a list. So on this list, you see that you can check it and you can delete it if you want to delete that list. If you come on this side, you'll see that there are very, very different things that you can do. So like for this one, you can add a subscriber. So if I click on that, I will be able to add a subscriber manually. So if you want to add somebody manually, then you can just add the details like that. And you can see the email field is the only field that is required. And then you can also view the stats for your list. So if you had subscribers, unsubscribers, maybe you send certain campaigns, you want to see how people are reacting to those campaigns, you can view stats. And then if you click here, you'll get more options. And some of the options you're going to get are manage contacts. And under manage contacts, here you'll be able to export. You'll be able to export your lists, among other things. You can also add lists manually when you click on this. I'm going to click on that in a moment, but let me talk about sign up forms. So this is one of the important things on Mailchimp. If you want to create any kind of a form, you'll first of all have to start from a list. You click on the list, and then you create the sign up form here. And there are different sign up forms. We have the forms that you create on the form builder. So on the form builder, you're going to build and design your form. And once you design the form, you can get the link and share the link. Then if you click on sign up forms, you'll also get an option to create sign up forms. You'll also get an option to create embedded forms. And with embedded forms, you just take the embed code and you can take it to your WordPress website, your Joomla website, Shopify, or any website that you're using, and you'll just paste in the code. And once you save, your form will appear there, assuming there are no any CSS or design issues on your site. But I will show you how you can customize the CSS for your forms easily. All right, so you can also look at settings, and under settings you're going to see the options that you have for your forms. You can import, you can export, you can replicate this list. If you want, for whatever reason you want to create this list again, you can just replicate it, and you can combine lists. Once I create another list, I'm going to show you how you can combine two lists into one. Maybe you've deleted a contact form on your website and you just want to have one list. So instead of having that list on your Mailchimp account, you can just combine it with another list and delete the one that you've removed subscribers from into the new one. So you'll delete it once you combine it with another one. Let me just click on some of these so that you can see what we have, and I can open this in a new tab. So when you click on manage, these are all the things you can do. You can view all your contacts, you can add a subscriber, you can unsubscribe people, you can create groups, and we're going to see how to create groups and create segments. And you can also see the import history. All right, you'll see any imports that you've done into that list, and you can also delete all contacts at once. Okay, so that's it for that. And if you come here, let's see what else. So sign up forms, we'll look at that later. And settings, or let's just click on settings and we see what you have. So here under settings, you'll see that you have list name and defaults. So you can change the list things, like if you want to change the address and everything, the name of your list, you can change that under this. And then the publicity settings, this is for your campaigns. So if you send any campaigns to this list, do you want those campaigns to be publicly visible, such that when you share the links, every campaign that you create on Mailchimp has a link. So you can actually share the link to a campaign on your social media, and people will be able to go and see that campaign. So do you want this to be visible to everybody, or do you want your subscribers only to be the ones who can view those campaigns? And then you have list fields and merge tags. So merge tags is a very great feature in Mailchimp, whereby you can just use things that look like this to insert dynamic content. For example, if this is first name, you want to insert somebody's first name inside of a template, you'll just use this, insert F name in there, and that is going to replace this with the name of that person or email. So we're going to see a bunch of this when we start looking at templates. So required email content, if you're sending a campaign, whether you're on the free plan or paid plan, you must have an unsubscribe link so that people can be able to unsubscribe from your email list. Once they receive your campaigns and they don't want to be there, they can just click on the unsubscribe and they will unsubscribe from your list. So that's something that is also here. And if you're on the free plan, the Mailchimp monkey rewards, that is the Mailchimp logo that is on your footer, that one is also required if you're on the free plan. However, if you upgrade your plan, that is not really necessary. And then we have the email beamer. So every list on Mailchimp has an email address, right? So it is an email address which is unique to your list. And if you take that email address, if you click here, you'll see the email address, and you can take that email address and add it to your contacts, your Gmail contacts. And if you send yourself an email, then that email that you send will be saved as a draft, so that you can just come in and send it later on to your subscribers. And then you can also have Google Analytics on archive pages. So if you want to add analytics tracking, then you can just click here and you can use your Google Analytics ID, the one that usually starts with UA something and some numbers. You can take that and just paste it in here. Once you click on this, you'll see that, and we're going to look at this later on. You'll be able to track most of the activities that happen on your campaign pages with your campaigns on your Google Analytics dashboard. So webhooks, this is a way for you to automatically synchronize your Mailchimp list and activities with a certain database on your website. So maybe you want a situation whereby when somebody changes or unsubscribes from your list, you remove them from your website as well. So you can have such a situation, but of course, this is a more advanced functionality, and you will need to understand how to implement the webhooks on your website so that you can have the URL. So it's just a URL that will be triggered when there are changes in Mailchimp. So this is advanced, and we're not going to, of course, we're not going to look at that in this course. But if you use WordPress, you can find some snippets that you can use to implement this on your WordPress website. If you go to GitHub, you'll find a bunch of snippet codes that you can use for this. So that's pretty much it about this lists, introduction to lists. So as we've said, a list will contain all your subscribers, and you can delete, add, and import subscribers into your list. These features, all of them, you can also access them when we click on this. They will become the list, they will become the headings that we have here, they'll become the menu items that we have here. So you can look at your stats and all of this, and we're going to start looking at each and every one of this one step at a time in the next video. So I will see you in the next video, and if you have any questions, feel very free to let me know. I will see you in the next video. Hello and welcome back. In this video, let's continue looking at lists, and I will go into lists by clicking on the lists link. So in this video, let's look at how you can manually add a subscriber on your Mailchimp list. If you want to do this, you can click here right away, or if you just click on the list, there will be an option for adding a subscriber. Okay, so I can add a subscriber right here, and you can add a subscriber right here quickly, or if I click inside there, I can also add a subscriber by coming to add contacts and click on add a subscriber. So we are also going to look at how to import, but in another video. So if you click on add subscriber, you can see that you need to give them an email address. So you'll add an email address. Let's say that's the email address that I want to add, and you can give them all these other details if you know these details, but if you don't have them, you can see they're not mandatory, and you can choose where they're from, all of that, their phone number, and date of birth. This could be very helpful if you want to do certain kinds of automations. So if you want to capture these kinds of details, then you should as well. And you also have to check this to make sure that, to confirm that this person gave you the permission to email them. If someone is already in your list, you can update their profile. You can check that here. But if they're not on your list, subscriber will be added as a new subscriber. So if I click on subscribe, you can see that we now have 2 subscribers. And if I check the subscribers that we have, you can see this is the one that I've just added, and all these other details are missing, but you can add them. So source, you can see it also tells you the source from where this came from and added by you as the administrator of this list. So I can just delete this if I want to delete this. So in this video, we have seen how you can add a subscriber manually. So in the next video, we're going to look at something else about lists. So in this video, this is what we've done, how to add lists. So let's continue in the next video. Hi and welcome back. So in this video, let's see how you can delete a subscriber from your list. So let's say that I want to remove this subscriber that I added in the last video. I can just click here and I'll click on delete. As soon as you click on it, you can see that the option to delete will come up here for you. And if you want to delete every subscriber on your list, you'll just come here under manage, and under manage contacts, you can see we have this option to delete all contacts. Once you click on delete all contacts, you will be able to delete everybody just by typing in the word delete as a confirmation. So you can see if I type the word delete in all caps and I click on delete all contacts, it will delete every subscriber on that list. So if I want to go back to the list of my subscribers, I'll just click here and click on view contacts, or I can just click on this link. So if I want to delete this subscriber, I'll just click on it and I can delete the subscriber. There we go. If I had multiple subscribers to delete, I can delete all of them at once by going here, or I can just select them one at a time and delete the ones that I want to remove from my list. So in this video, you've seen how you can delete a subscriber from your list, and in the next video, let's see how you can import subscribers into your list. So you're going to come here into add subscriber and you're going to click on import contacts, and you're going to see how you can import your subscribers from a different platform into Mailchimp. And it's a very intuitive and very simple process. So I will see you in the next video. Hi. So in this video, let's see how we can import subscribers into our Mailchimp list. I need a list that I can work with, and so I'm here on a different Mailchimp account and I want to export this list so that I can import it into the other Mailchimp account. So if I click on export, you'll just click on the list name and then click on export. When you click on that export, it will show you the number of contacts in the list that will be exported, and you can just click here to export this as a CSV. And when you do that, you can see it automatically downloaded that zip file for me here. So I'll just drag it here and I will go back to the other Mailchimp account. And if I come back to this Mailchimp account, what I want to do is I want to import those subscribers into this list. I will come here and I will click on import contacts. We have import as a CSV or a tab delimited text file. So a tab delimited text file is just a file that is delimited by tabs. Like for example, you can have the first name and the last name, and the space between the first name and the last name will be a tab. So that's a tab delimited text file. But in most cases, you're going to find that most exports will be done as CSV, and you don't really have to know what CSV is. They're just delimited by commas. So you'll just bring it here and upload it, or you can copy and paste from a file. So if you already have like a Excel file, you can open it up, copy everything and just bring it in here and then paste in what you've copied. Or you can import from integrated services. So if you're using any of this and you want to import your contacts into Mailchimp, you can do so just by integrating this with Mailchimp. So you'll need to integrate it if you want to import into Mailchimp. But in most cases, as I said, even with this, you can export all the contacts as CSVs. Okay, and then you just come in here and import the same way that I did. So you saw me export from Mailchimp. With all this, there's definitely a place whereby you can export contacts. So if there isn't, then you can come here and integrate. But in most cases, you'll find that all of them have an alternative for you to export and then just come into Mailchimp and import. So I'll just click on next. And then of course, the next process, I have to upload my file. So here's the CSV that I want to import, and I'll just double click on it. Acceptable files are CSVs or tab delimited text files. Anything else will just fail. And you can also see it tells you that duplicate addresses will be removed. Okay. And they do not send confirmation emails to imported addresses, and trust that you gathered proper permissions to send every address on your list. So it is up to you to make sure that you've gathered the permission for you to send emails to the subscribers that you're importing. So I'll click on next to go to the next step, and the next step will involve us choosing fields. So you can see everything that you import into Mailchimp will need to be aligned with something. Like for example, you can see these are email addresses. They're automatically aligned to this column. So this is a table. Think of this as a table, and a table will have rows. So these are the rows and then the columns. Okay. this list, while I was collecting subscribers, I did not add a field for first name, and therefore you can see it automatically took the email addresses as the first name. So if yours has a name, what you'll do is you can just edit it. So let's say this was the name. You can just come here and edit it, and you can give it a column, right? So if this was a first name, you would call it a first name and save. Okay, so that if this was the first name, and then in this case, you can see these are member ratings. Let's see if we have anything that is like that. So we don't have member ratings anywhere. That seems like it was a Mailchimp field. So we don't have that. And since we don't have that, we can just say we don't want to import this. So we're going to skip it. So we're not going to import it. So the opt-in time is here. And this is nice because you can use this later on for creating various automations. So you see this will not be imported because we skipped it. And let's say this is another field and you want to give it maybe a different name. You don't want it to be opt-in time. Then you can give it a different name. You can even create a new column in your list. So for this, I'll just say save because it was correctly labeled. And then here we don't have any IP addresses, so we'll just skip that. And then here, what do we have? Opt-in confirmation time, confirm time, right? We have that. So confirm time, do we have anything here to do with confirm time? Let me see. Opt-in confirm time. Yeah, so I can see it's already matched to something here. Opt-in confirm time. And I'll just click that and save. And you can see the reason why it's getting matched is because this list is from Mailchimp. So some of these fields are already there in Mailchimp. Okay, so this is confirm IP, right? It is the same. We'll save. What else is remaining here? Make a selection. Latitude, we don't have anything. Let's say this was a field that has certain things that are not common in Mailchimp. So what you do, maybe this is like a grouping that you did yourself, a field that you added manually. So what you can do is, if you have a list that has that field and you're importing it into Mailchimp, so if you wanted to add something like that on Mailchimp, what you'd need to do is you can just click on new column, and then you'll give the new column a name. And once you give it a name, you can come here and select the field type. What type is it? Due date is a date. So you'll give it a date, right? If it was maybe a birthday, you'd choose a birthday. If it was an address, you'd choose an address. If it was a phone number, you'd choose phone. If it was a website, you'd choose a website. If it was a picture of the person, you'd choose the image. But in this case, we don't really have to add any custom field here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cancel this, but that's how you'd add a custom column. Okay, so if it is not here, you can just add a custom column and give it a name, choose the type, and that's it. So some of this will not be imported, you can already see. Let's just skip this one. So that's it. You just have to match every column, and if something doesn't exist in Mailchimp, you'll just go ahead and maybe choose to skip it. If you skip it, it will not get imported. If you decide to make it a new column, well and good. You can create a new column and just define the type of column it will be. So after doing all that, this is a part that is a bit tricky in this process, because you have to know at least what that column is about and what it holds, what kind of data it holds. After doing all that, I'll just click on next step. You can see here that once you've matched all the fields, you'll see that you're importing 5 of 18 columns. Some of this we skipped. And then you can look at the details, what will be imported. You can even go back and edit everything. You can categorize the import contacts as. So on your list, there are also unsubscribed emails. You can also have cleaned emails. So you can choose any of this, but of course these are emails that we want to be labeled as subscribers, not unsubscribers, So we'll just leave it as subscribed. If you are importing unsubscribed, then you can also import that and mark them accordingly, so there will be subscribers on our list. And then you can update the existing list. This is a situation whereby there is a possibility that the list that you're importing has certain contacts that are already in your list. So if the list you're importing has certain duplicates in your list, they're not going to duplicate those contacts, they're going to update them, and they're going to update them based on the email. This used to be like the way how people used to merge lists in the past. That's why this feature used to be really, really helpful. But nowadays, there is an option for you to merge two lists. So now this is kind of redundant if you know that your list is a new list. But if there are contacts that are already there, then it will help you ensure that you don't have any people duplicated on your list. Once you're done with all of this, the next thing you need to do, you just import, and that will complete the importation process. So once you import them, you can see that it will give you a notification here that your contacts have been imported. If you come into source, you'll see that the source says that this was imported from a CSV. Alright, so that's pretty much it. So in this video, what we've done, we've seen how you can import a list. And the first thing that I did was I went into a different Mailchimp account and I exported a list. And then I came into this Mailchimp account and imported that list. You saw how to match the different fields. So if you want to import your list, that's how you can do it. So in the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here under settings and we're going to go through some of these so that we can see what they're all about. I will see you in the next video when we get started looking at some of these. Hello and welcome back. In this video, let's see how you can create a new list and how you can delete a list. So I'm going to get started by going into lists. And then if you want to create a new list, you can just click the create list button. And I will click to create a new list. And then of course, you'll need to give your list all these details, call it whatever you want to call it. And then the default email address. Now the from email address, this is the email address whereby your subscribers will receive their campaigns from. So if you have an official email address, you should put that here. So this is the email address from which your subscribers will always see your campaigns are coming from, and that is also where they can reply to your email addresses. And you need a default from name. If you receive an email from a company, what name do you normally see? So that is what the from name is. So you can use your name, your business name, whichever name that they'll recognize you by, that's the name that you use. In most cases, you probably want to use your personal name because it gives a more personal touch. And then the campaign URL settings. Right now, I'm on the free plan. And if I upgrade my account, I will be able to verify a domain that I can use in my campaigns and even my landing pages. And then, of course, you want to tell people how they got into your list. You're creating this list to collect subscribers from your website. So you'll just write a description here. You subscribed on my website. And then the company name, you can give that. This will be like your address. So at the bottom of your list, you can add your company details there. Just put in all the information there. And just for this part, let me show you where you can change this default address. So if you want to change the default address for all your lists, for instance, you can see this one is the same that I used to open the account. And if you want to change it, you'll just come into account. You'll go into account. And then here, you'll come into settings and then contact information. Under contact information, you'll scroll down and you can see you have different addresses here. This is for the lists in the account. So scroll down to this part and you can just change your details here. Just click on edit list information and you'll be able to change all the details for your list right here. You can also use the merge tag on your templates to show this information. List description, it will show you the description for your list. You can add a description here. You're receiving this email because you opted in on your website. You can add your website there. The website link, you can add it, just the domain name for your website, you can add that there. And when you use this, it will show the description to your subscribers, and then you can also change your information here. So that's how to change that information. And then if I come back here, you will see that we have these form settings, and these form settings, you can enable double opt-in. So this is whereby when somebody signs up on your form, they have to confirm that they want to sign up. They want to actually sign up. So they will be sent an email, and when they receive the email, they'll click on the confirm opt-in button, and once they confirm it, it is then that they will be subscribed. Otherwise, if you don't check this, they will automatically get subscribed without having to confirm. And of course, this is not recommended because it is better to get people who actually want to be in your list. So if you want people who really want to be in your list, then just enable double opt-in. And then you can also enable GDPR fields. So if you're targeting people in the EU, you may enable GDPR fields, and this is going to add a checkbox, some checkbox which you can edit in the form editor. And I'm going to show you where you can do this later on when we get to working with forms. So you can enable this if you target people in the EU, but for now, we're not going to enable GDPR. We'll do that at some point later on. So you can also choose to get notifications if people subscribe, unsubscribe. When people unsubscribe from your list, you want to get the notifications. You can choose which one you want. You can get your daily summary. Most of the times they don't really work the way it says it does here. Okay, so that's how you create the list. Once you add all the details, you'll just come down here and click on save. And once I do that, you can see that we now have list 2. It has been created, and here I can switch to the other list if I want to, and I can go to lists to view all my lists. So that is how to create a list. And if you want to delete the list, you'll just click on it and the delete button will come up here for you, and you can delete your list. If you want to do anything else with your list, you can come here. You can add contacts. You can create a sign up form for it. Okay, so I will delete this, and to delete you have to confirm that you want to delete the list. So you type delete in all caps, and that will be confirmation for Mailchimp that you want to delete the list. So just by ending the video, I want to say that it is not recommended to have many lists in your Mailchimp account. The better thing to do is for you to create segments and groups within your list, and I'm going to show you how to create segments and groups at some point in this course. So just remember that you should have one list, one master list, and you use the master list for all your Mailchimp activities. You just create groups and segments if you need to. Okay? So that's it for this video. In this video, you've seen how you can create a list, and you've also seen how you can delete the list. And most importantly, we've learned that the most important thing is for you to have one master list and use the list for all your activities. You just create groups and segments within that list. So I will see you in the next video. Hello and welcome back. In the last video, I showed you how to create and delete a Mailchimp list. In this video, let's see how you can edit your subscriber details, how you can update the subscriber information. So this is something that Mailchimp recommends that you add on your templates. So by default, this is usually available in every Mailchimp template, but if you're using a custom template, you can use this merge tag to add the link automatically, and when your subscribers click on this, they will be able to update their own preferences. However, in this video, let's see how you can update your subscriber details manually. So if I come here into lists, I will click here to go into all my subscriber lists. If you have a large list, you will have to use the search, or if your list is just as small as this one, you can just click on this and it will show you the subscriber that you're looking for. So in my case, I'm going to assume that you have a large list and you want to use the search. So I'll click on search. This is a site-wide Mailchimp search, meaning that you can search different things, not just the list. So you can see you can search everything on Mailchimp. You can search campaigns, contacts, and the current list. So let's use the current list, and let's say I want to search for. So if I do a search, I will find something related to this. It could be an email. If you have the email address that you want to update, you can just paste it there and search, or you can also use the advanced search, and this will enable you to search based on these items. So if you have the merge tags and all these other details, you can use this. Like, let's say I click here on, okay. So we're going to look at the Mailchimp search later on. For now, let's just forget about it. And I'm going to search for this. And if I scroll down, you're going to see that we have our result right here. I can click on it to view the profile, or I can click on view profile. It's all the same thing. And if I want to edit this, what I'll do is I will come down. On this side, you can see that we have the profile information for this subscriber, and you can change all the details here. Okay, so if maybe you have been able to collect their birthday and you know the date of their birth, you can add that here. If you've been able to collect their phone number, you can add that right there. Okay, so this is where you'd change the subscriber information, and once you do that, just make sure you click on save. So if you scroll down, you can also edit all this other information here. You can add, you can change the language, okay? You can change the preferred email format. If they like to receive the email in plain text, you can do that here. Once you edit this subscriber, you can also go to the next subscriber. Click there to edit their details as well. And once you edit this one, you can click to go to the next subscriber to edit their details as well. And once you're done, you can just click here to go back to your list. So that's pretty much it for this video. And in this video, what we've done is I've shown you how you can edit your subscriber details, and I've touched briefly on the Mailchimp search. So that's it for this video. I will see you in the next video. Hello and welcome back. In the last video, I showed you how to edit your subscribers. In this video, let's look at some of these settings. So in one of the previous videos, I showed you how to create a Mailchimp list. And if you want to edit the details that you entered, this is where you'll click. You'll just click here and it will show you the details that you entered, your address, the name, the email from, the name of your business, and all that. You can change that here. So if you click here, that's what you'll get. And then you also have publicity settings. So under publicity settings, all your email campaigns are usually saved in an archive format. So that means that they have a link and you can share those links publicly. So what this setting will enable you to do is to either make it such that those links can only be viewed by your subscribers, or anyone can view them. Okay, so in most cases, you just want to leave it as public. Anyone can view them as long as they have the link. And then list fields and merge tags, we're going to look at this. This is an important one and we're going to look at it. So we also have this required email footer content. So there are certain things that are required in your email campaigns. There are certain things that Mailchimp requires for every email that you send. One of those things is your address. You must have a physical address on the footer of your email. Number 2, you must have an unsubscribe link. People must be able to click on a link that will automatically unsubscribe them from your list. Number 3, you must have a description that tells people where they signed up. So these are the 3 that are required. There are also others that you can add, but these are the 3 that are required. So these are required because of the Can-Spam Act. Now the Can-Spam Act is basically an act that tells businesses how they can interact with the subscribers in the email. And the most important takeaway from this are that you do not deceive your subscribers. You don't send a heading telling people that, hey, get a free something, and then when they click the link, they have to pay for it. That is deception. And also you must have an unsubscribe link on your footer. So if somebody clicks on it, they should be able to be unsubscribed. So if you want to read more about the Can-Spam Act, you can find where if you come here, if you scroll down, you'll see this option, required by law. And if you click on that, you can read more about this on the Mailchimp page, and then you can also click here to view more about all of this. Okay, so just make sure you read this. You can see it's very short. Don't deceive, and just give the information about the things that you have and about the things that you can do. Do not misrepresent your business in any way, and if people want to unsubscribe from your list, make it easy. That's why using Mailchimp is a good idea, because at least for them it works automatically. If you click the unsubscribe, someone will automatically get unsubscribed. So if I come back here into settings, we've looked at that, the email beamer. Now the email beamer, this is an email address. Okay, every list that you have on Mailchimp has an email address. So if you receive a campaign from somebody else and you like the campaign, you can actually send that campaign to yourself, bring it into Mailchimp and edit it, and then you can send it out to your subscribers. The email beamer is an email address, and when you send emails to that email address, those emails that you send will be saved as drafts. They will be saved as campaign drafts, and you can just come in, edit them and send them. So if you click here, you'll see the email address. And then webhooks, this is just a link that automatically synchronizes Mailchimp data with your website data. And then Google Analytics, we're going to look at this at some point, how you can add your analytics ID so that you can track your archive and list pages. So in the next video, we're going to come here into list fields and match tags, and we're going to see what we have under here. All right, so I will see you in the next video. Hello and welcome back. In the last video, we looked at list settings. So I came here and I spoke about some of this. In the next video, I want to look at how to create segments in the next video. But before we do that, I want us to come here so that we can create something that will enable us to create the segments. So we are going to look at the list fields and match tags in this video. So let me just click on this. So as I said earlier, a match tag will allow you to replace the data with what it resembles. Like in this case, if you use this in your template, it's going to get replaced by the first name of the subscriber. If you use the match tag email or the match tag 0, it will get replaced by the email address. And we're going to look at this when we start looking at templates. Even though in templates, there's an option to automatically just choose them. You click on it and it will automatically add this. So that's what match tags are, okay? In this page, what you see is everything that is available for you in your sign-up forms. So these are all the data that you can have on your sign-up forms. And if you are to show everything on your fields, on your form, these are all the fields that will be available on your forms. And you can also add fields. And let's say, for instance, I'm a manufacturer of a particular product. And on my list, I sell directly to consumers and I also sell to suppliers. I want to add a field that will enable me to segment my subscribers based on consumers and those who want to sell the products. If you want to add a field, you'll just click here on add a field. And you can add different types of fields. You can add a radio button, you can add drop downs, and I'm going to add a drop down, even though the same implementation can also be done using a radio button. If you want to add dates, you want to add phone numbers, you can add phone numbers, you can add website. If you want to add images so that people can upload their images, you can add that as well. So in my case, I want to add a drop down. So the drop down has been added. You can give it a title. Let's say I want to say something like choose how you're going to use the product. And then the first choice, let's say, and then the second choice, let's say to sell. To sell. And then I'll just remove that choice. All right, this is visible. So if you want these fields to be visible in your sign up forms, you can also click here. And when you go to the sign up form editor, you'll see all these fields there. Okay, so you just click on visible and it will be visible on the sign up form. And you're going to see that when we get to sign up forms, creating sign up forms. So if you want any field to be required, like this seems like it's an important one, so I'll make it required. And once I'm done with that, I'll just click on save changes. And once I save changes, I also want to tell you about something that is very important here. So you can see on this side, we have this thing which is default merge tag value. So in some cases, you're going to find that some of these fields won't have any data inside of them, like the first name. Okay, so if you use the merge tag of fname and there's no first name in your table, like if you saw my list, you'll see that there are no first names and second names. So you can add a default merge tag value. So the default merge tag value will be the value that will replace the data that is not available. Like for example, let's say you're writing an email address and you use the merge tag, hey fname, I want to tell you about this new product that we have. Okay, so if fname field doesn't have the first name, what you put here will replace the value, because if you don't put anything, it's going to show them that. It's going to show them the merge tag. So you may add something like dear. Okay, so when there is no data for the first name and you send an email, hey fname, I'd like to tell you about this new product. So if there's no value for that, it's going to replace it with dear, and it's going to be something like, hey dear, I'd like to tell you about this new product. So that's something that you can do in Mailchimp. You just add the details for each of them, but in most cases you'll find that personalization for most people is done based on the first name. And you can see the email doesn't have a default merge tag because the email is always a required field, and you will not be able to sign up anyone into your list if there is no email address. Yeah, so I just wanted to cover that because that's a very important thing. Make sure you send yourself a test email, and I'm going to show you how to do that. In this video, I've shown you how you can add a field in your Mailchimp list, and I've also shown you how you can add a default value for your merge tags. And we've seen that you can make any of these fields required. And if you want any of these fields, maybe you want phone number to be visible on your sign up forms, you can just click here to make it visible. And when you go to the sign up form editor, you're going to see that this field is there and the form editor is here. If you click on sign up forms, you're going to see them. Make sure you click on save. I want to show you that this field has been added. So if I come back inside of my list, I'll just click here, or you can click here on manage lists to view all your lists. So you'll see that this field has been added. How are you going to use the product? Okay, so I think I decided to end the video prematurely because there's one thing that I still have to show you, and that is in this one, I need to add these elements manually. So how do I do this? Do you remember when I showed you how to edit subscribers? Just click on the subscriber, and when you click on edit, here, you will find this field and you can choose the option. So let's say the first one is going to sell, and then we click to go to the next subscriber. The next subscriber is going to use it at home. So you can see that what you need to do is you need to add your fields very early on, because if you have many subscribers and you have to do this later on manually, it will be a very very arduous process, and you don't want to go through this arduous task of having to manually add them. So if I come back to all my subscribers, I'll just click on back to the list. And once I do that, you can see that now here we have all the details for our subscribers, and you can do this manually. So the most important thing for you to know is that you should add any fields that you want to add them very early on. That's it for this video. In the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to show you how you can create segments, and we're going to create a segment using this. So you can click here to create a segment just to see what creating a segment is about. So I'll see you in the next video. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, feel very free to let me know. I will be here to answer all your questions. I will see you in the next video. Hello and welcome back. In the last video, I showed you how to work with list fields and merge tags. And we came in here and you saw how to add a field, and we added this field. I also showed you how to add a default merge tag value so that when the merge tag is missing, your subscribers are not going to see the merge tags, but they're going to see the default values that you add. So in this video, let's create a segment, and a segment is just a way for you to separate your subscribers based on certain criteria. We also have groups, and groups are a much better alternative for you to use for your list. They are more dynamic than segments. Now, as for segments, you add your subscribers. As for groups, subscribers can actually add themselves manually on your forms. And we're going to see that in a moment in the next video. So in this video, let's create a segment. And the beautiful thing about segments is that Mailchimp also has some predefined criteria that you can use to create your segments. So let me click on create a segment, and we're going to see what we have here. You can choose how you want your segment to be. So the contacts match. That means that it matches all of the following conditions. Okay? Any or all. So there's a difference there. You can say any. That means you can add a rule. So this is one rule, and then you can add another rule. But in this case, let me say all, matches all. If I click here, you can segment your subscribers based on automation activity, their campaign activity. This is good because Mailchimp automatically tracks your subscribers for you. So if you want to use some of this, like let's say you want to track based on campaign activity. Campaign activity is opened. If they opened, campaign activity opened, and then any of the last 5 campaigns. You see, that is an automatic segmentation for you, and you can create the segment, give it a name, and you can also track it based on automation activity. Started workflow, completed workflow, not started a workflow. So if a workflow was started, you can choose the automation that you have. I don't have any automations here, but if I had any automations, they would be shown for me here. So this is a way for you to let Mailchimp decide for you your segment based on your subscriber activity. So you can do that using any of this. If you create a landing page and you want to track the activity for that landing page, signed up, did not sign up on, you see, maybe you send a landing page for your current subscribers for them to sign up on something else that you're creating or you're preparing. So email marketing status. Let's come back to email marketing status. Okay, so let's say that I want to subscribe. I want to segment my subscribers based on the field that I created. And the field that I created is such that some people are buyers for home use and some people buy the product to resell it. So you want to send different campaigns to these people. Of course, the people that are selling the product, you want to give them discounts based on the bulk that they buy. So the people that buy more from you, and that is the sellers, you want to send them different campaigns to encourage them to buy more from you so that you can give them more discounts, and you can also give them tips on how to sell the products. You can sell them resources that they can share with the people that they're selling the products to. So in that case, you may want different segments for these different subscribers. So let's say I want to create the first segment. I will come down and search for the merge field, and the merge field that I created was this. So you can also segment based on this. Okay, let's say you had a field for females and males, that is the sex of your subscriber. So you can also segment based on that if you had that, right? Because you may want to send different campaigns to the men in your list and to the females in your list. So in my case, this is the one that I had, and I'm going to say this is my merge field. So if I select this, and you can see all the options that we have is not, is blank, is not blank. Okay, so let's say is for home use. If you want to add another rule, you can add another rule whereby this rule must be respected and the rule that you add must also be respected. Then you'll use all. But if you want to use any, then this rule can be respected, the next rule can be respected. As long as one of them is true, a subscriber will be added to that segment. If you have any question about this, feel very free to reach out to me and I will answer your question. So for me, this is enough for my segment, and I'll just click to preview the segment, and then after that I can save it. So you can see this is my segment. I only have 2 subscribers with home use, and then once I'm satisfied with this, I can just click on save, or if I want to do something with this, I can edit it so that I can change anything else that I want to change in my subscriber segment. Or you can send, if you want to send an email campaign right away to them, you can send one. You can do an ad based on this segment. But in my case, of course, I want to save the segment, and when I save the segment, I can use it later on to send my campaigns. So what would you like to name your segment? Let me call this Home Users. This option allows you to automatically update this segment such that when somebody signs up on your list and they choose the home users, then it will automatically get added to this segment. So the segment will grow as your subscriber base grows. And if I want to view all my list, go back to all the list of my subscribers, I'll just click here on this X button and I can see all my subscribers once again, and then I can create the other segment for the suppliers. So in my case, I'll click and I'll just select that is to sell, and then preview segment, and then I'll just save segment, save it as sellers, and of course I want it to auto update so that when subscribers sign up to my email list, they will automatically get added to the sellers segment, or they can get added to the home users segment. And I will save this, and when we go into campaigns, you're going to see how you can send campaigns to segments. And you saw that there are certain places that may be blank. So in that case, you can also create a segment for the blank ones, which are non-existent. So let's say I click create segment, and then I choose that, and then here is blank. So is blank can be for those that are missing. That is a case whereby if I make that field not required, but I made the field required, so there's no point at which it will be blank. So if yours is not required, you can create a segment for this field when it is blank, and you can preview the segment and give it a name, and you can use it in your campaigns. Let me just go back. So just a recap, in this video, I've shown you how you can create a segment, and you've also seen that you can create segments based on what Mailchimp has for you. So you can track your subscriber activity. Let me say any. You can create segments based on Mailchimp's tracking. Let's start with campaign activity, okay? Campaign is opened, any campaign within the last 7 days or any campaign within the last 3 months. Okay, that will be the first one. Then let me add another one, campaign activity and automation. Let me say landing page. Where is the landing page activity? And then signed up or did not sign up. So these people clicked, and we also want to see if they sign up on something. They signed up on something. Unfortunately for me, I don't have a landing page. If I had a landing page, I would see if they signed up on that landing page. That would mean that they're interested in a particular element, and then I would preview the segment. There is no segment that matches that as of yet, but I can save. If I had a landing page there, I would still be able to save this, and I can save it as interested in something. And then you can save it to auto update. So the next time I send a campaign and anybody clicks on a link and then they also sign up on a certain landing page for a particular product, then I will be able to know that these people are interested in that element. And next time I want to send something, this will be a very conversion friendly list, because I already know they're interested in my products. They already clicked on a link. They also subscribed on something and downloaded something that I was giving away for free. This is a nice way for you to just know active subscribers who are interested in some of your specific content, and this will enable you to directly send specific targeted campaigns to them. So this is something you can think about if you have a huge list and you want to drill down on your subscribers. So that's just one way that you can use segmentation. And in this video, I've shown you how you can create the segments. In the next video, we're going to see how we can create groups. So if I click here, it will remove that and I can view my entire list. In the next video, we're going to see how we can create groups. And if you want to create groups, you'll just come here under manage contacts and you can see all these options, but we're interested in groups. You can also view all the segments you've created by going into segments. So if I go into segment, I will be able to see all the segments that I've created, and I can delete them if I want to, or I can edit them if I need to. Like for this one, let's say I want to edit this one and I want to make it such that this is not any but all. Okay, I want it to be all. This is like this and this must be true. They must have clicked on that and they must have clicked on this. So I will save. That will just save it. And then if I click here, I can close it. And if I come here under segments, I can view all my segments. You can edit your segments here. You can delete them if you want to. You see, if you click on it, the delete button shows up and you can delete a segment. If you want to create more segment, you'll just click here on create a segment, and you can create a segment because you're already in this list. It's going to assume that you want to create a segment based on this list. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video. In the next video, let's come back into groups. I will see you in the next video. Hello and welcome back. In this video, let's start looking at groups. Groups allows you to group your subscribers based on different categories, based on different criteria. Like the example I created in the last video about subscriber interests, that is a good candidate for a group. You can make groups available on your sign up forms. You can create groups on the list page, and you can also create them on the sign up forms. So in this video, we're going to create a group, and then in the next video, we're also going to create a group using a sign up form. So let me come here inside of lists. I will choose this list. And in the last video, we created a segment based on this field. In this video, we're going to use this as a group, and I'm going to delete this. So let me first of all go inside of list fields and merge tags, and I want to delete this. So if I scroll down, I can delete this. And then I'll go back inside of my list. And inside here, I will come to groups. So the first way we are going to create a group is we're going to create a group within the list, and then I'm also going to show you how you can create it inside of the forms in the next video. So make sure you click on this so that you can learn more about groups. All right. but I'm just going to go ahead and create a group. So you can use a group to separate your subscribers. And the example I did about segmentation, that would make a perfect group. One set was for consumers, people who are using the product at home, and another set is for buyers who are buying the product to sell it, so suppliers. So in my case, I want to use that as a group here. So the benefit of a group is that it enables you to use one list for different things, and you don't have to create multiple lists. And that's one thing that even Mailchimp recommends, that instead of having multiple lists, just use one master list and then you create groups within that list. So you can create your groups based on, as a checkbox, people can select more than one. Okay, if you want a situation whereby your group will have intertwined subscribers, whereby one subscriber is in more than one group, then you can select checkboxes. Then radio buttons only allows you to have a scenario whereby one can be one or the other, can be a buyer or a supplier. So if that's your scenario, you use this. And this is also the same as a radio button. It works as a radio button. It's one or the other. If you don't want the groups to show up on your sign up form, maybe you'll be adding the users manually, you'll be adding subscribers manually, then you can do this. But in this case, I don't want it to be a checkbox. I want it to be a drop down, and you can give it a name, how you use the product. Let me just use the same, and then you can say home use, or so these are the group names. And if you have more, you can even add another one there. Okay, so I'm going to save. And you see, this is a very nice thing in Mailchimp, whereby once you create the groups, it allows you to even import. You can import into these groups. I showed you how to import contacts, and you can import contacts into that group in the same manner that I showed you. But right now, I don't have any list that I want to import into this group, and therefore I'm just going to exit. I'm going to exit and go into the dashboard. And then I can come back here inside of list, and I can go inside of the list. If you want to add subscribers to your groups, you're going to have to export them. Like you saw, I created segments in the last video. However, I've deleted the field that has the segments. But before you delete yours, make sure you export those segments. Like if you want to export a segment, you'll just come into the segment. Let me open this segment in a new tab. These are the segments that I had created earlier, and for this segment I had subscribers. Right now I don't have any subscribers, but you'll need to export. Once you export them, you can import them into your groups. Like let me come inside of groups. And if I come inside of groups, you can see right now I have this one group. You can rename this group if you want to. Just give it a name, and you can delete it if you want to. And then if you want to add subscribers inside of the various groups within this, you see we have home users and we have the sellers. So if I want to add, I can just import. And if I had already exported my list from my original segments, I can import them inside here. Subscribers can automatically add themselves into the groups on the forms. So the next thing I want to show you, let's go inside of the forms. So let me go back and let's go inside of the sign up forms for this list, and we take the link so that we can see how our group is appearing on the front end. So let me go inside of form builder, and then inside of the form builder, I don't want to edit anything here. You can see this is our form. It has all this, but you can remove, you can disable any of them. Like if I click on this, and you can see this is hidden. If you see this, this is hidden. You want to hide the last name, you can just come in here, click hidden, save field, and that's going to hide this. The ones in blue, these are hidden. We have our group setting here. So if I come here and I click on the link, if you come up here, you'll find the link and you can just view your form on the front end. This is actually a link that you can share anywhere and people will be able to subscribe on your forms. So this is how it's appearing. You can see that I can choose one of these and somebody will be added into the group automatically. So in the next video, what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to show you how you can add the groups using the form builder here. So in this video, what we've done, let me go back into lists. In this video, I've shown you how to create groups, and we've said that groups are a nice way for you to group your subscribers. Instead of using multiple lists, you can use the same master list and then you group your subscribers according to your categories. In this video, we saw how you can create a group by going into the list. And when you go inside of the list that you want to create a group for, you'll just come inside of manage contacts, create a group and choose the kind of group that you want to create. And so in the next video, we're going to come here into sign up forms and we're going to see how we can create groups within here. So let's go and delete the group that we've created and we're going to recreate it in the next video. So this is a group that we have, and if I want to delete it, I'll just click here to delete the group, confirm. Alright, so that's it for this video. If you have any questions, feel very free to let me know. Hi and welcome back. In the last video, I showed you how to create groups. We created a group by coming inside of our list, and then we went inside of groups and we created a group. In this video, let's see how we can create a group using the sign up form builder. If I come inside of the sign up forms, and then I go inside of the form builder, I can create a group within here, and I will use one of these. I can either use a radio button, a checkbox, or a drop down. And in the last video, I said that with a group, if you use a radio button, it means that a subscriber can only be in one group. If you use a checkbox, the subscriber can be in more than one group. If you use a drop down, it's the same as a radio button. So in the last video, we used the drop down option. In this video, let's use a radio button. So let's say I want to add a radio button, and if I want to add the radio button, I'll just click on it. Let me click on the radio button. And you can see it is added down here. You can also drag the elements, okay? You can drag the elements anywhere within this form. So if I click on it, I can edit it, and the scenario for me in this group is such that my list has two types of subscribers. There are subscribers that buy my product and they use it at home, and there are subscribers that maybe buy my product and sell it. So in this case, I'm a manufacturer of a particular product. And then you can change the merge tag. If you want to change it, give it a different name, and you can make it required. In my case, of course, I want it to be required. And then the field, of course, I want it to be visible so that it can be viewable on my form. And you can also add some help text there just to tell them something a little bit like, hey, just tell us how you use the product, home use or as a seller. And then you can add a default merge tag value. If you intend to use this merge tag within your email templates, then you can add a default merge tag value there. Maybe you can use a default value such as, the most important part for this is this, okay? You see here, you can click on this and it will convert this into a group. Let me give this the choices, and the first choice that we want to add there is home use. What's your interest for using our product? Home use, and then the other guy to sell. Once I do that, I can just click on convert to groups and it will give me this. You can read this. You can click here to read more, and I will just click convert to groups. And then I can close that. And once I do that, if I scroll down here, you're going to see that it's been doubled. So let's delete this because this is the first one. Delete it. Type delete to delete it. And then for the second one, let's click on the second one, and you can see this one has already been converted to a group, and so it's like starting afresh. And I will rename it. So if you want to avoid this, just save it before you convert it to a group, and then you can delete the initial one that you created. Interest in the products, and then here the first choice will be home use, and then the second choice will be to sell. If you want to avoid retyping, just save it first of all before you convert it into a group, because once you convert it into a group, it will be added down here, and the one that precedes it is the original one, and you can just delete it. So interest in the product, there we go. Then I'll just click on save to save these changes. All right, so that's it. Okay, I forgot to delete this one. You see, I need to delete this one as well. Delete. And then of course, make sure you save. And now let's get the link for our form. And if I scroll up, I can see the link is here. You can copy this link and share it on your social media and use your form and any of these other fields. If you don't want them, you see this with the blue background. This means that it's been hidden. Any of these others as well. If you want to hide them, just click on it and then come here, click on hidden and then save, right? And it will hide them for you. So once I take the link from here, I can open it in a new browser so that I can see the form and I can show you the group fields. So yeah, that's my form right there. Interest in the product for home use. You see, you can only select one, you cannot select both. If you want a scenario whereby someone can select both, then you're going to have to use the checkbox, okay? If you come here on add a field, you'll see that we have checkboxes. If you want people to be added on two different groups, you can use a checkbox. You can also use this using a drop down, and it will add a drop down here, and I showed you that in the last video. So that's pretty much it for this video. And in this video, what we've done, we've seen how you can create your groups within your sign up forms. And the way that you do it is you go inside of list, then you go inside of the name of the list that you want to create a group for, and then within that list you go into sign up forms, and on the sign up forms you'll just come in here and select one of these, and when you select either a checkbox, a radio button or a drop down, you can convert it to a group. In the next video, what you're going to look at is I'm going to do a crash tutorial, that is a quick tutorial just to show you how you can send Mailchimp campaigns. And after that, I'm also going to do a tutorial about how to create Mailchimp automations. And that is just for you if you have already imported contacts into Mailchimp and you want to see how you can send campaigns and create various automations as fast as possible. Of course, I'm also going to do these sections in depth at some point in this course, but right now in the next video I'm just going to do a crash tutorial, that is a quick tutorial. So I will see you in the next video. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, feel very free to let me know. Hi and welcome back. In this video I'm going to show you how you can send campaigns. So this is going to be a quick tutorial because I will still cover this when I get to the section about campaigns. I'm just doing this so that if you already have your list, you've just imported your list, you can see how you can send your campaigns out to your subscribers. So just as a reiteration, I'm going to cover this later on when we get to the section about campaigns, automations, and landing pages. So let's get started. If you want to create a campaign, you'll just come here inside of create. You can use this button, you can use this, you can go inside of campaigns. Let's go inside of campaigns. So on the campaigns dashboard, you can see that your campaigns, automations, landing pages, all of them will be listed on this page. For now, let's just see how we can create a campaign, and I will click on the create campaign button. You can see that we can create an email, we can create an ad, we can create a landing page, and there's this new one for create a postcard, which will enable you to send physical postcards to physical addresses. So in this video, we want to see how we can create a campaign. So I'm going to click on create an email. So once you click on this, you'll see that you can create regular campaigns, you can create automations, you can create a plain text. Now a plain text doesn't have anything else, it just has the text. You can also do A/B tests. If you want to create A/B tests, then this is where you'll do it. But for this video, let's see how you can create a regular campaign. And a regular campaign is a one-time campaign which uses the Mailchimp templates. So let's call this one sample campaign. And then I'll just click on begin. So you can see for me, it automatically brought me here, but I can click on template to go back and enable me choose a template. Okay, so when you're here, you can choose any template that you want to use. Let's say that I want to use this, so I can just click on it to select it, and I will click on change template. And then you can design your template however you want. You can design your email however you want. You can just click here. If you want to add an image, you can click on replace, and you'll be able to add your logo. Let me click on upload to upload some images that I can use in this example. So you can see all my images have been uploaded here, and you can just click here to upload. Here you can also import. You can also click here to import from a URL. Just put the URL that you want to import from. Let's say I want to import this image, then I can just copy the URL on my browser here. Copy image URL, copy image address, and then if I come here, I can paste in that and then import, and it's going to start uploading it there. So it automatically brought me back here, but you can go back in here by just coming here. So I want to choose a logo. I can use this, and I will just click on insert, and you can see the logo has been uploaded. So one thing you need to understand with Mailchimp is that if you want your email templates, your emails to be responsive, meaning that for them to show nicely on even smaller devices, you're going to make sure that this image is less than 600 pixels wide. So that's just that, but we're going to see later on how we can add some CSS on this template. But for now, let's just edit this. I can click here to edit, just click there, and you can edit your template. I'm not going to change much here. I just want to change it so that when I try to publish it, Mailchimp will not give me errors. So I'm just going to do it this way, and I can convert this into list items. Okay, so here also I'm going to edit this one so that we don't get any warnings from Mailchimp that we haven't edited the default text. I'm just going to make this one also ordered list items, and then I can add an image here. Then you just click on browse to upload an image. Let's say the image that I want to use is this one. Then I'll insert the image. So you can see that the image is too big. So what you can do is you can reduce the width of this image using Photoshop or any photo editor. In this case, you can also edit it here on Mailchimp. You could also edit it on Mailchimp just by clicking on edit. So first of all, let me save and close this, and then I'm going to come back here. So let me just leave it as it is for now, because this is not a real email that I'll be sending out. So I'm just showing you how you can create and send campaigns in a quick video. So let me change the link here. Let me edit, click on edit, and then I can change the link. If I just select it, I can click on the link, and you can add different types of links. If you want to give a download link, you can add a file, you can upload it and then add the file, and then you can do an anchor link, email address. So we're going to do a web address, and let me just add the link that I last had for the image, and I will insert that. And for this one, let me remove the link and I will save and close. So for this one, you will have to add your URLs there, your Facebook URL, all of them. If you want to add another service, go ahead and add it. Okay, you can add any other service here. You have Dribble, you have Spotify, Reddit. You can add the links there. So I'm going to click and save. And then down here, so these are the important details that have got to be on your email list. So here you can see we have your mailing address. This is going to add your mailing address. Let me click on it so that we can edit it. We can see it on this side. So this is going to add the year, your company, the list name for your company, and then all this copyright information, and then the page for the archive page, and then the list description, how did people join your list, and then our mailing address. This is going to give the address for your mailing list, and I showed you where you can change this address by just going into your account settings. Under list, you will see the address that will be shown here. You can also change the same in the list. So if rewards, this basically means if you're on the free plan, then show rewards, show the monkey rewards. That is the Mailchimp logo. So HTML rewards, and then you end that. So if you want to add anything else here, you can just do so by using this editor right here. And then I'm going to save and close. And all of these elements, you can edit them if you want to. You can just come here under styles, and you can see the text, the color for the text. You can change everything here. So if you want to change anything about the text block, you can just come in here and you'll be able to change the styles for your text block. Just come in here and see what you can change. You see you can change the sizes, the color, and you can also change the styles for the fonts. So that's pretty much it for this one. I'll just click on save and close. And if you want to use personalization in your email, maybe let's say here you want to say, hey, first name. And then you want to personalize this. You're going to use the merge tags here. You'll just click here on merge tags and you can add the merge tag. You see, these are all the merge tags that you have. So here we only have the member data. We only have the email address. We don't have first name, last name. And I don't know why that's not showing up here, but if we can remember clearly, let's say we choose this and you go to your name, and if you have a field with first name, you can get the merge tag there, and you'll just come in here and change it based on that merge tag. So if this was the first name based on your mail, and I showed you where you can see all the merge tags for your list, go to the section about list settings. You'll see something about merge tags there, list defaults and merge tags. You're going to find this. So that's pretty much it for this, and I'll just save this and close, and I can preview and test the email. So if I click here, enter preview mode. So assuming that this was your campaign, this is basically how it would appear on the email client on desktop devices. So if I click on this, I don't know whether it's going to show me this because there was an issue with this. It didn't even show on the editor, so probably there won't be anything there to show. Like for that, you see it's not showing even after I click on this, but this is only visible when you send the campaign. So let me see how it will be on a mobile device. So this is how it tells you it's going to show up on a mobile device, but in most cases this is not how it's really going to appear. You'll have to test it manually to just see how it appears on your phone, and if you see that there's any issues, then you may need to edit it. In most cases, if it doesn't show up responsively on small devices, it's probably because of an image which is larger than 600 pixels, So you may need to change that image, or I'm going to show you how you can add some CSS. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, and I'll show you that when we get to this section about campaigns. Okay, so let me just close this. So if you want to send yourself a test, just come back here and you send yourself a test. Send yourself a test email. Maybe you're designing this for someone else and you can send them the test as well. Just put in their email address and then you click on send. So after sending myself the test email, I checked and the email is actually responsive on my Android phone. So if I look at it on the Gmail client, it's responsive. Unfortunately, since I used the default text, it automatically went into my spam folder and this was removed automatically. Alright, so once you're done designing your email, the next thing you can do is you can go to the next step. So you can also use some of this content, okay? If you want to add anything to your email, these are all the blocks that you can add. If you connect your account to your store, to your online store, then you can add any of these products, promo codes, all of this, you can use them. On this side, we have buttons. If you want to add links, you can add buttons. Okay, so I'll go to the next step and I'll do that by clicking on save and close. And also if you like this, you can save it as a template. Everything seems to be okay except for the content. Okay, so the default content is still being shown, so I can resolve this. Okay, after making those changes, I can see that everything is now all right. And you can still edit your design. If you want to edit anything, just click here to go and edit your design. You can add your recipients. So these are the people you're sending to. Are you sending to a list? You can choose the list you want to send to, and then you can personalize the to field. Select a merge tag, fname, last name, that's first name and last name. So when they receive, it will contain their first name and last name. Or you can also send to a segment. When you're sending to a segment, you can use any of these segments. And I showed you how to create segments. So if you choose this, it will only be sent to this segment. Or you can also send to a group. First of all, you select group or new segment, and then you select contacts match any. And here you'll come and select the group. And for us, that was a group. Group is, you can send to either the home use group or to the to sell group. So that's only if you want to send to a segment or a group. But if you want to send to the entire list, you can just click here, all subscribers on the list, and you'll just choose your list right there. And then just with that, you can click on save. And once you click on save, you can go to the next item and add the from. So the from is your name, your email address. Just add that, click on save. And then the next thing is subject. What is it about? So write that there. You can also add a preview text, something that they'll see before they open the email. So you can click that to save. And then once you're done with all this, basically your campaign is ready to be sent. And if you want to connect to Facebook, you can do that. You can connect to Twitter as well, and the campaign will automatically get shared to these platforms that you connect. Once you do this, you can decide, do you want to send it now? If you want to send it now, you'll just click on send. If you want to schedule, you'll click on schedule. So let's say that I want to send it right now. I'll just click on send. And it will alert you, asking you if you want to send. And once you click on send, your campaign will be sent out. So that's pretty much it for this video. And in this video, what you've learned just a quick tutorial how you can send campaigns in Mailchimp. So in the next video, we're going to come back into campaigns. And when we get back here, we're going to go into create campaigns, and we're going to see something about how to create automations. So this is just a quick section that allows you to quickly send a campaign or to quickly create an automation if you already have a list and you don't want to go through the entire course just waiting for that part. So in the next video, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to come back here and I'm going to show you how you can create an automation as well. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, feel very free to let me know. I will see you in the next one. Hi and welcome back. In the last video, I did a quick tutorial on how you can create and send Mailchimp campaigns. So if you haven't watched that video, make sure you go back and you watch it. In this video, let's see about automations, and I want to do a quick tutorial. I'm not going to go through everything, so if you have any questions, you can let me know after the video, but I'm not going to go through everything because I just want to do a quick tutorial that will show you how you can create automations in Mailchimp. So the difference between an automation and a campaign in Mailchimp is that a campaign is a one-time email. That is an email that you send once and there's nothing that follows up after that email. However, you can go further with campaigns by creating automations. So automations are automatic campaigns that are based on specific triggers. So maybe the trigger is somebody subscribes on your list, then you send them another campaign. Somebody clicks a link on your email, then you send them another campaign. So we're going to do something like that. I'm just going to do a quick overview of how you can send and how you can create and set automations in motion. So let's start by clicking on create a campaign. So I'll just click on create campaign and then I'll come here under create an email and then I'll go into automated. So these are the automation that you can create in Mailchimp. You have this welcome new subscribers. You can create one whereby as soon as somebody subscribes, you send them this email. You can say happy birthday every year. You remember when you are importing our Mailchimp list, there was an option there for you to add a date of birth. So you can add that birthday for somebody so that on that specific day every year, you can automatically send them an email telling them happy birthday. Here's a free coupon for you. And you can also share your blog posts by creating RSS campaigns, which will automatically go out every time you post a new post on your blog, or anytime that you decide. Maybe you can say weekly or daily, you can send your post RSS feeds. And then we also have subscriber activity. So if somebody subscribes or respond to subscriber updates, then you can have thank pop-up from subscribers if somebody signs up through your pop-up. Then we have the important ones which are under e-commerce, and you can thank first-time customers, you can reward your best customers, you can retarget visitors, follow up on purchases, enable order notifications, recover abandoned carts. And there's a video about this below. I did a video about this below and you can check it out. In the old tutorials, there's a video about this. So let's say you want to create a simple campaign based on subscriber activity. So I'll just start by saying, you know what, the easiest and the quickest way for me to show you how you can create campaigns in Mailchimp is to create a custom one. So let me click on custom and we're going to start from here. So campaign name, give it a name, and we're going to call it automated trial. And then let's click on begin. Of course, you can choose your list. If you have multiple lists, then you can choose the list that you want to create this automation for. And I will click on begin. There we go. So the most important thing about campaigns is that there's got to be a trigger. So you can see here, this, you can edit your trigger. So the trigger is the thing that sets this campaign in motion. So let's say we click on edit trigger so that we can see which triggers we have. So if a subscriber is added manually, so this is a manual add. You can change the trigger here. Let's change the trigger and you can see previous email sent. So you can see some of these say that cannot be fast trigger. Some of them are just common sense. You see that previous email sent, there's got to be an email which was sent for this to be a trigger. So let's find something that doesn't have this fast trigger. List management. So let's say list management and sign up. Let's say somebody signs up on my list. So somebody signs up on my list. Then I want to wait 1 day, and then after a day, I want to send them this message. So of course, in this message, I'm going to edit my email here. And some of the things you can also edit a schedule. You can edit the schedule. When do you want it sent? At a particular point or only at a specific time? Segment, none. There are no segments here. If you want, you can only do this for a particular segment. So you can only do this for a particular segment. So you have to set the conditions, okay? So you see we have our segment within here, and we can use any of this if you wanted to, or you can create brand new segments. So it's just the same process on creating segments. So I don't want to set up any segments for that. I will leave it as so, and then you can edit actions. So let's see the actions that we have. So you can choose post sending list action. This action is performed on each subscriber after the email is sent. So what do you want to do after the email has been sent out to the subscriber? What do you want to do? You can update a field. You can leave interest group. Maybe you can delete from the list. You can update a merge field. So this is a nice way for you to maybe streamline your list in a way that you want. For example, you're sending a series of emails, and in the last email you want it such that if somebody doesn't take action in your list, you delete them from the list. So these are some of the actions you can take. You can send them to a group, right? If you send them an email based on a certain criteria and they click on specific links in your campaign, then you can put them in a certain interest. You can remove them from a group. So that's something you can think about once you set up many different automations. So I'm just going to cancel this, and then we come back here into design email. So for design email, give your email a subject, and I'm going to call this email 1. And then the preview text, I'm just going to ignore that. Then I'll go next. And in the next step, you can choose a template. So I don't have any templates that I've saved. I should have saved the last one I created. So I'm just going to go into campaigns, and I'm going to select the one that I sent. And this is a campaign that I sent in the last video. So I'm going to use this just because I want to save time. All right. So I'll just save and continue because I don't want to go through this step again. I did a brief overview of how you can change all those elements. And then of course, automation is about sending multiple emails. So the first email has been sent. Okay. So the second email, we want to check if a certain link was clicked in this email. Then if they click that link, we want to send them another campaign. So let's click to edit the trigger. So for this one, we want to set up the trigger. Let's change the trigger. So previous email was sent. So this can also be a trigger on its own. You can see previous email was sent. This can be a trigger on its own. So this is one of those that you can use if you want to teach people how to use a specific item. Maybe people sign up on your new application, on your new app, on your new software, and you want to teach them how to use it. You can do this. Previous email was sent, then you wait like a day, you send them that email. Okay. But for me, I want to check if a link was clicked. So previous email was opened. You can also use this to check if they opened the last email. If they didn't open, then you can use this one, previous email not opened. Okay. So you can set up multiple campaigns. Some of these are very self-explanatory. You can just use them the way that you see them. So the one that we want to use is an email was clicked. Previous email was clicked. Previous email not clicked. Specific link in previous email clicked. This is the one that I want to check. You can send it the next day, or you can wait a couple of days. You can even do it weekly, So settings. So let me track down the link, and then I'm going to paste it in here. So if I can remember correctly, the only link I used in the last campaign video was a link to an image. So let me copy the image address, and then I'll come back here and I will paste the link, and then I will update the trigger. And just like that, now we know that if somebody opens this and they click this link, we want to do something. So we can edit action. If they opened it, you can also add another one here just to track if they opened the email. But of course, if they clicked a link, it checks two things. They of course opened the email, and then they also clicked a link. So by checking if they clicked a link, you're checking two things. Did they open the email? And also, did they click the link? So what actions can we take? Let's say that we want to move them to a new group. If they click that link, So delete, you send them an email, and then you also want to take them to a new group. Okay, you can add them to a group, remove them from a group. It's entirely up to you. I've shown you how to create groups, and you can create groups based on your subscriber interests. So this is just an example for me. Maybe you can update something for them, maybe the first name. You can update something. Maybe if you add a new field, you can update a certain field. Okay, if you add a certain field, so these are not active, that's why they are not being shown. But if you go under the list settings, you'll see how you can activate this, and I showed you how you can do that. So in my case, let's say that I want to put them into this. Then I will update action. You send this, they subscribe, you send this. Okay, maybe there should be something in between here. Mine is not organized, but I'm just showing you how you can do this. So let's say after you move them into the new group, you want to send another email, but this time around we only want to send this email if they opened this email. So add email, and then the first thing, let's change the trigger. So we look at the trigger. The trigger is what will make this email go. Trigger that I want to use is if the previous email was opened. So if they opened the previous email, you can wait number of days after you send the previous email. You can wait weeks. So I'll update the trigger. Previous email was sent. And remember, I haven't designed an email here. So I will have to design an email just like I did with this one. So this will be second, and then all this I'll just click next to save time. I'll just choose the same campaign again. And then for this one also, I'm going to design an email. And I will call this third. And then I'm going to just go to the next step because I want to save time. Then I will send the same campaign that I used in the last video. So for you, of course, you're going to have to edit and create your emails in advance so that you can know what you want to send. Just make sure you create your automations the way that you want them to be. If you want to track your subscribers as soon as they subscribe, then you're going to have to set up your emails in a way that handles that for you. So like this one was being sent if this one was opened. So maybe the last email that you want to send them, maybe you just want to send it. You just want to send it if this email was sent. So if this email was sent, you want to send them a final email telling them about a particular offer. So for this, let's say if the previous email was sent, and we're just going to use this trigger. So you can wait a couple of days, you can even wait a week before you send this one, and then you can update trigger. Like for the ones whereby, like for this one, I think it was this one where we were checking if a specific link was clicked. This one you may have to wait a couple of days because some people take more time to open their emails and look at them. Some people will open it immediately, some people don't do it immediately. So you may have to wait a couple of days, even a week, if you're going to use some of the triggers that are available in Mailchimp. So for this one, if the previous email was sent, we want to send them another campaign, and in this campaign, maybe we are selling them. Now this is a final campaign where we are inviting them to buy something from us. So let's call this one fourth. So you can see a pattern here. You have to plan your campaigns, okay? Mailchimp has certain triggers that you can use. Make sure you find the best triggers that work best for your scenario and also work best for your end result. What do you want to achieve in your automation? What do you want to achieve by the end of the automation? Are you selling something? And before you start selling, of course, you have to at least tell people some useful things just to build some trust. And once you do that, maybe you can send them an email that asks them to buy something from you or to join a particular product. It all depends on what your goals are for your automation, for your campaign. Okay, so let's assume that this is all that we want to do. This is our entire Mailchimp automation. Okay, so you can create as many as you want to. In my case, I'm saying that this is all that I want to do as for now. So you can send yourself a test email if you want to. And for me, I'll just go to the next step because I want the video to end as soon as possible. And you can see everything is a blue check mark, meaning that everything is a go for you. You have added all your emails in here. And then just after that, you can click Start Workflow. And once you click on Start Workflow, your workflow will be started. Okay, so that's it. So if you want to edit this automation, you'll just go back into Campaigns. And you can see that if you see this, it means that your automation is active. So I'm going to click on it. If you want to edit it, you can just click on it to edit anything. So you can pause all the emails, you can edit the workflow settings, anything about these campaigns, anything about the emails, you can edit that. You can add subscribers, remove subscribers from a workflow. Okay, you can pause all emails. You can edit it, so you have to pause it to edit it if you want to edit it. You can replicate it. You can view the report for every single email. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video. And in this video, I've done a quick video that shows you how you can create automations in Mailchimp. Of course, I'm going to do more in later videos. For now, you can watch this, and I believe this should get you in a path whereby you're able to work your way and find your way around the Mailchimp automation feature. So for me, I'll just click on Save and Exit, and I will exit to go to Campaigns. Alright, so that's it for this video. Make sure you watch the previous one, and in the previous one I did another quick tutorial that shows you how you can send Mailchimp campaigns. So I will see you in the next video when we get started looking at things about sign up forms. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, feel very free to let me know. I will see you next time. Hello and welcome. In this section, we're going to start looking at Mailchimp forms. So if you want to see how you can collect leads on your website or just on Mailchimp or even on Facebook, go ahead and watch this section. You're going to see how to create different forms, how to use them to collect leads. And of course, the first thing, if you want to use Mailchimp forms, you have to start under lists. So click on lists. Then you'll see all your lists, and for the list that you want to work with, you're going to come here and you can start creating your sign up forms. So let me just open this in a new tab so that we can talk about the different types of forms that we're going to look at in this section. So these are all the forms that you can have in Mailchimp. We have the form builder. This is where you have a sign up form. You can just take a link from Mailchimp and then you share the link, and once you share the link, if people visit the link that you provide them, they will be able to sign up. And you saw this in previous videos that I did when I did something about groups. I showed you where you can get these forms links. And then we also have embedded forms. Embedded forms are very popular. These are forms that you just take the code from Mailchimp and then you paste that code in your WordPress website, Squarespace website, Shopify website, and the forms will just show up, and people who visit your site can easily subscribe to your Mailchimp list. And then we also have subscriber pop-up. These are also very popular. Probably 90% of every website you go to, you're going to see there's a pop-up, and I'm going to show you how you can add those pop-ups, how you can create them and edit them and add them to your various websites. And then we have form integrations. So let me just click on this so that we can see what is here. And I will also click on this so that you can see just a brief about each of these. So coming down here, form integrations, these are forms that These are integrations that you can do with Wahowa forms, and you can also do them with Squarespace. These are the only integrations that I've seen Mailchimp has added here. So before I go into the links that I've clicked, we also have a Facebook form. You can add your form on Facebook, your sign up form, you can add it on Facebook, and there will be a tab on Facebook where people can visit and subscribe on Facebook, and they will automatically get subscribed to your Mailchimp list. We also have this tablet form, and this is just a Mailchimp subscribe app that allows you to collect subscribers on location. Maybe you're at an event, you can have the Mailchimp app, subscribe app, and use it to collect subscribers, and it can be stored offline and it will get synced with your Mailchimp account when you're online. Okay, so let's click on this first one, which is sign up forms. So these are the sign up form integrations. You can have the Wahowa forms, and you can also integrate with Squarespace. I've always found that it's just best to use embedded forms, because most of these, sometimes you'll find that subscribers will not get pushed to your Mailchimp list. If you can, always use embedded forms. Just embed a form on whichever platform. And if the issue why you may want to use this is just because of the design, that should not be a major concern, because by the end of the section about forms, I'm going to show you how you can edit your forms. You can edit the CSS of the forms. So if you know a little bit of CSS, I'm going to show you how you can make your forms look as good as you want them to be. And then let's go under pop-up. So this is the section where you'll create pop-ups, and I'm going to show you how you can create different types of pop-ups. If you come here, you're going to see that we have different types of pop-ups. You can just click and you can have a scroll. This will be shown when somebody scrolls, or you can have an exit intent pop-up. So when we get to this section, we're going to look at each and every one of this, and then we can have embedded forms. These are taken from the sign up forms. So when you create your sign up forms here, the embedded forms will take every field that you create in the sign up forms, and you can see these are what we had in our sign up form. This is a group that we created in one of the last videos about groups. So if you didn't watch this part, go ahead and watch this part and see how we created groups, and you'll see how you can create your groups. So this is embedded forms. Once we get here, we're going to see how we can take this code, and then we can just put this code on our website, and our form is going to show up. So I'm going to show you how you can edit this so that you can change the appearance of the form when we get to this section. And then I'm also going to show you how you can design your form. This is very familiar to you because in the section about groups, we looked at this. So this was just an overview of what you're going to look at when it comes to forms. So I'm going to show you how you can embed your forms, how you can create sign-up forms, how you can edit those forms, how you can put them on WordPress, you can put them on your plain HTML and CSS website, how you can even put them on Squarespace, you can put them on Shopify if you have a Shopify store. And I'm going to show you all this by the end of this section. So I will see you in the next video, and in the next video, let's start by looking at the form builder. So we're going to start by looking at this one, and we're going to see how we can edit our form so that it looks how we want it to be. So I will see you in that next video. In this section, we've started talking about Mailchimp forms, and in this video, we're going to start looking at the sign-up forms on Mailchimp. This is a form for which you can just take the link and share the link, and people can subscribe to your form once they get to that link. So if you want to get to the forms, if you don't know how to get here, you'll just come and you'll click on lists, and once you click on lists, you'll go to whichever list that you want to work with, and you can just click here to go to sign up forms, or if you go inside of the list, there's also an option for the sign up form that you can click on. It will be somewhere up here. You'll just see it immediately. Once you click on the sign up forms, it will bring you here, and once you get here, you want to go to the form builder, and that's what we're going to look at in this video. You can click here or you can click here. Either way, it's going to bring you here. Okay, so what you can do here is you can create and design your form, and this is a link for your form. So you can just share this link and people will see your form. I want us to look at this interface and the things that we have here. In most cases, I've always seen people asking like questions like, where do I share my PDF forms once people sign up? How can I give them my PDF? I want to give people a download. I don't know where to give it. So that's something that you can get here. There are a bunch of forms and emails that are hidden here, and most people usually overlook this. So if you come here, you're going to see that here you have your welcome emails. If you want to welcome people and give them something to download, then you can find that here. If somebody unsubscribes, you can send them a goodbye email and even try to convince them to sign back to your list. So all that, you're going to look at some of this, and you can just come here and check them out. Just click on them and they will be shown to you here. So don't be afraid to try things in Mailchimp. Just come here and click on anything and you'll see what it is all about. If I fail to look at anything here, just come here and look at it on your own. The other thing that I want to talk about, which is very, very important, is the file manager in Mailchimp. So the file manager, this is where all the items that you upload into Mailchimp will be located. So the best way for me to get there is for me to just come here. We're going to look at how to design this later on. For now, let's just talk about the file manager. So I want to go to the file manager and I'll just click here, use image, so that it can bring me to the file manager. And I think at some point I showed you how to upload these images here. So if you have different files, you can upload them here, and this is where you will upload your PDF. Like for instance, let me just upload a PDF here. So once you double click on it, you select it, the upload will begin immediately. So you can see that the upload has finished, and I can use it and insert it inside of my form, but I don't want to do that. I'm just going to close that and come back into the file manager. If you want to share this link anywhere within your templates, within your forms, you can also copy the link and do that. But in most cases, there will be an option for you to just link to it directly from within the template editor. The template editor, or whichever editor you're using on Mailchimp, you can just click on something, upload, and you can automatically get to the file that you want to link to. So on this side, you can see that we have products, we have this Jiffy, and we also have my logo. So my logo, this is a logo that you can set up in Mailchimp, so that every place in Mailchimp where there is a logo, the logo that you set here can automatically get used. And to set a logo, you'll just click on the image that you want to set as your logo, and then you'll come here under view details, and then you can see you can edit an image, you can copy the URL of an image, you can set as the logo. So I'm going to set this as my logo. If you have a logo, upload your logo and set it up as a logo, so that any place where Mailchimp has to use a logo, instead of using a placeholder, they will use your logo. And you also have this Jiffy. So this is where you'll find animated GIFs, and if you have your own, you can upload them. But before you use them, of course, you have to know your audience, because you don't want to use them with the wrong kind of audience. There are certain people who don't like them, and it's up to you to know your audience. You can just come here and upload yours or use any one of this. And if you want to create your own, you can just go to Google and Google animated GIFs, or you can just Google Jiffy, and this will also give you a link. I think it's actually going to be the first link that you can use to create animated GIFs. We haven't looked at products, so here under products, you can connect your store with Mailchimp. Maybe you use Shopify or WooCommerce. You can connect your store, and then you're going to add your products. And once you add your products, you can also add them in your templates, you can add them in your landing pages, and you're going to see how to do that when we get to those sections. So let me go back here into files, and just by ending the video, you can create folders for all your content. Like let's say I add a folder, and let me say for download. And if I click on for download, you'll see that there is nothing in there. But if I come back into my files, if I go into all, and then I click on my PDF, I can take it into for downloads, and this can be a way for you to group your various uploads. Then I'll go back into all, and you can also sort them. You can view them using lists. And if you want to filter, you can filter based on who uploaded. Let's say you have various users. You've given different users access to your Mailchimp account and they add content. You can see the content that they've added here. You can filter content based on the image or documents. So if I filter documents, you're going to see I only have this one, and I can clear the filter just by clicking on the X. So that's pretty much it for this video, and in this video I've done a brief overview of how you can use the content manager, and then I've also spoken about this just a little bit, and you can see the forms and emails that you have here. So if you come here, you're going to see the various forms and emails. Just check them out. Before I start talking about them, just feel free to click on them and look at them. So in the next video, we're going to start seeing how we can edit this form, how we can change the appearance. So if you just take this link, copy, and you can view your form. So this is the name of your list, and you can also change the name of your list. If you go to your list and then you go under list settings and defaults, you're going to find list name and defaults. You're going to find that you can change the name of your list there. And you can also change this with your logo, and we're going to see how to do that once we start editing our form. So in the next video, let's come in here and we can start looking at how to design this form in a way that we like it. First of all, you build it, and by building it, you add the elements, and then you can design it, and then you can also translate it. So in the next video, let's come back into this form and we're going to see what we can do with it. So I will see you in the next video. Hello and welcome back to this section. And in this section, we started looking at Mailchimp forms, and the first form we looked at was the subscriber form. So let's continue on from where we left off in the last video, and I'll just go inside of my lists. And then I'll come this side and go into sign up forms. And then I'll go into form builder. So in the last video, I told you about the content manager, and I also spoke about some of these forms and the response emails which are inside here. So these are forms and emails that you can use for responding back to actions that your subscribers take. Okay, so in this video, let's continue on with the sign up form. And I say that we can build it, you can design it, and you can also translate the form. So let me take the link, and I can put the link in here so that if we need to refer to anything, we'll have a look at it. So the first thing here, build it. You may need to add a logo. Let me go and add a logo from my content manager. So I'll just click on that and then click here on insert. And you can change any settings that you want, the width, the height, anything else that you want to change. You can also add a URL. Like let's say the URL for this, I want it to be my site. So I'll come in here and take the link of my site, and then I will paste the link here. So if you wanted to open the link in a new tab, you can select that, or you can use the image URL, but I don't see the need for using the image URL. If you want your form to have your logo, it's probably best to use your site for this. You can use your site, or you can even make it redirect back to this form, and you can just take this link. If you want it to redirect back to the form, you can just take this link and then use that there. So in this case, this is all I want to do for my image, and then I'll just click on save and insert image. So the first part, we've added some sort of branding up there. And if you want to change anything on your form, you can change it. Like if you want to reorder these items, you can drag any element down. Maybe you want to use the first name. You want the first name to be above the email, you can do that. If you want a situation whereby you only have the email, then you may have to disable. You may have to make this a hidden field. And once you do that, make sure you click on save. And when it turns blue, it simply means that this field is now hidden and it will not be visible here. So if I reload, you'll see that you've only got an email address and the groups that we set up in the group section. Okay, I'm going to make that visible again. Click save. Okay, so any of these fields, if there is anything here that you created inside of your list, and I showed you some details how to create these fields so that they can show up here. If you want to add any kind of field, you can add a field on your list, or even if you come here inside of field settings, inside of other field, and you add any field here, it will get added to your list. Like let's say you want to add people's phone numbers, you can just drag, you can just click on this, and when you click on it, it will add a phone number down here, and you can add any settings that you want to add for the phone number. Like if I click on it and then I come this side, you'll see that you can change the name, you can change the merge tag field, and then the font format. Which font format do you want to use? Do you want to use the international font format, or do you want to use this one? So it depends, but since you're online, you're probably going to need to use the online format, which will accommodate more phone numbers. And then you can make a field required if you want a field to be a mandatory field. So before people sign up, they have to fill it in. You can make the field required. And you can also add help text. So let's say maybe something like add number. And then if I save that, if I reload this, you can see that the phone number has been added, and if somebody clicks on it, it gives them that. Okay, it shows them the help text. Okay, so if you want to direct people on how to sign up things, you can use the help text. So I'm going to delete this, and this time around I will just click on this, and this is going to delete it for me. So just type delete and confirm. All these other fields, if there is anything that you don't want to be here, you can just click on it and delete it. Okay, if you don't want anything to be shown here, you can click on it and delete it. Phone number, this was brought from my list. Even this address, let me just remove this. So that's pretty much how you design the form, how you build it. Okay, building it simply means adding the elements that you want. I don't want the video to be long, so we'll continue in the next video. And in the next video, we're just going to continue from here by building our form. And then after that, we're going to see how we can design it so that we can add some branding to our form. Even though it's on Mailchimp, we can still add some branding things that are relevant to our website. So I'll see you in the next video. And if you have any questions, feel very free to send me a message. Just note that anything that you have inside of this form will be visible here. If you set anything to be visible, it will be shown on this form. So this is where we stopped in the last video, and let's just continue from here. So you may also want to add a message. Let's say you want to add some message, just click on this and you can type any message that you want. So I'll just paste in a message here, and that's my message. So you can see that you can even use this to link to your privacy policy. If I click here and I just highlight this entire thing, and then I can add a privacy policy. So you add your privacy policy. Nowadays that's very important. I'll just add that in there, and you can add your actual privacy policy. you can make it open in a new window, which is a good thing. You can also add a title attribute. This is what people will see when they hover. Like for example, if they hover, they'll see something like click to read more about our privacy policy. That's something you can add there. And then if you have a CSS class that you want to add on your form, you can do that. Just add the class here, and then you can define the class in your form. So let me insert this. You can also add all these other elements. You can see there are images, but there's no point in pushing your form down. If you add anything up here, it's just going to push your form down, and that is not a good thing. You want to make sure that as soon as people get on the page, your form is visible. The fields that they need to fill in should be visible immediately. And if you add anything up here, it's probably just going to push things down, which is not a good thing. So once you add anything that you want to add inside here, just click on save and close. You can also view source. Okay, if you want to change anything, you can even use this to add some custom CSS inside of your field, and we're going to try this later on. So let me just click and save. Let me just save this and close it. And once I do that, you can see our message is up here. And let me take the link once again, copy, and then I can open the link. So you can see your message is there, and you can tell people whatever you want to tell them. You can even add some headline. You can add a title. I see I didn't add a title. So let's say I go back into this and I make this my title. So I'm going to increase the font size of this. Let's make it 24, and then for these others I can make it 18. Then save and close. And if I come back, so I can still increase that maybe to 26, and let me just reduce this to 16, save and close. And if I come back and I refresh, so this is what I was saying. You see, the fact that I've added this, made it huge, has automatically pushed everything down for me. That's not something that I may want for my form. I want everything to be visible immediately. I want the fields to be visible. I want every element to be visible. So if you have something like that in mind, then you may need to try and ensure that you don't add a lot of text here. And you can also make this even smaller, or you can even do without it. It's a good idea to add a heading. At least let people know why they're signing up. Like for this one, sign up to get a free Bluehost tutorial. If somebody is interested in a Bluehost tutorial, they want to learn how to use cPanel, they will sign up. And I'm also going to show you how you can add a link to the welcome email, so that as soon as they sign up, they confirm that they want to sign up, and after they confirm, an email will be sent to them with the download or with the link for this tutorial. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so in this video, I've just shown you how you can add a text above here. All these other elements, you can change them as well. And we're going to keep designing the form. I just want to do it in shorter videos so that I don't have a hard time editing. Editing is a very boring task. That's why I'm trying to make the videos as short. Okay, so that's it for this video. In this video, I've shown you how you can add this here and how you can add a link if you want to add this on your form, so that people can look at your privacy policy before they sign up. You can also add all these other elements. So if I click on text, if you want to add a text field, you see, any field that you want to add, you can just click on it and add it here. If you're creating a long registration form, you can add whichever elements that you want to add here, give them a name, just click on it, and if you come this side, inside of field settings, you can change the name of anything. Just click on that, and if you come this side, you can give it a new name. Let's say that you want to call it hometown. And then the field tag. The field tag, this is the merge tag. So let's just paste that in there. And you can make it required. You can make it visible or hidden. Let's make it visible. And I told you what a help text is. A help text, this will help people know what the field is about. So you can just tell them something like, tell us where you're from. And then once they click there, it will show up for them. You can add a default merge tag value. Then just click on save field. So let's make it visible and then save field. And when you do that, you can see your field has been added here. So that's pretty much how you can add any of these other fields. Just come here to add a field and look at all the fields which are here, and you can add anything that you want to add. So you can create your form as long as possible, but just remember that the longer your form is, the lower your conversion rate is going to be. So that's why you find most people just add the email address field. Alright, so that's it for this video. If you have any questions, feel very free to let me know, and we're going to continue in the next video. Hi and welcome back. So let's continue from where we left off, and in the last video we looked at some of this. So let me just delete this field that we created. We don't really need it. And even these ones which are hidden, I can just remove them. Okay, I can make this one visible just so that I can have it there. And the last name, I can leave that on there. Maybe I may need it in future. You just never know. We're done with building, and I've shown you how you can build it. You can add any of these fields. So in this video, let's look at how we can design the form, how we can change all these different colors. If you don't like the color, then you may want to change it into colors that match your branding. So let's say I come here inside of design, and you see that we can design all the different parts. We can design the page. We can change the color of the page. You can change the body. If you want to change the body of this form, you will just click there, and you see once you click on anything, it shows you where you're working on. It will show you what you're working on. So when you click on any of these elements, like if I click on body, you'll see that it shows me what I'm working on. So this is the element that I'm working on, the one with the red border. And then the body you can see is the one with the red border. So if you want to change the color, anything about it, just follow the red border, and that's going to give you an idea of what you're about to change. If you want to change the form, you can see the form has different things, like the form has a button. So the button is the one with the red, and then the button hovered. This is going to bring the different color. You see when I hover, that's the color that's currently there. And then the field labels. So the field labels, you can see the labels are the names. The labels are the names of your field. And then the field text, you can change the font. If you want to use a different font, you can change the font here. And you can also change the text color for the field text. Okay, the field text is when people type in, what are they going to see when they type? So let's go back into design. You want to change the color of errors. You want to change the help text. You know what the help text is. I showed you in one of the previous videos. And a required legend, like you see this one, this is what this means. But of course, you may just want to hide it. So you can change the color of any of these elements that have got text in them. So you'll just come here and you change the color. You can just click there to choose a different color, or if you already have a color, you can just paste in the hexadecimal color here in this format. And if you want to change any of these other elements, I'm going to show you how to change them. So in this video, what I've done, I've just done a brief overview of this design area, and we've said that if you see the red border, it simply means that that's what you'll be changing. Like if you select body, it will show you that this is what's being changed. If you select page, That's what's being changed, and you can change the color to whatever you want. So that's basically how to design the form if you're using the Mailchimp design area. So let's continue in the next video, and we're going to see how we can change various things in this form if you want it to match your branding. So I'm going to see you in the next video. So this is where we stopped in the last video. So let's continue on. And if you want to build your form, I told you that you'll just come here inside of design it, and then you'll change any of these elements into the colors that you want them to be. Like for example, here on page, let me change this to white. Let's say the only thing that I want to be focused on my page is my form and all these other elements. I'm going to change the color of this to white. So the page is white. You can change the header. We don't really care much for font size because we are using an image. Line height, we don't care for that as well because we are using an image. The margin bottom, margin top. So you can see that on our form, the image here is pushed down. So if you want to push it up, you can just come here, and I will use a negative. So if I make it negative 20 px, let me see the effect of that. If I reload, okay, let me make it 40 so I see if there is any difference. Reload. Okay, you can see it's going up. So let me make it negative 70. You can see it's going up. So that's one way in which you can push elements up. So if this was not negative, it would push it down. Since it is negative, that's why it's pulling it up. But if I make it just a positive number like this one, it's going to push it down. The margin top is going to be pushed down. So header, outer wrapper, let's see what the outer wrapper is. So the outer wrapper is the entire thing that includes the form. Okay, so you can change the color of the form, everything inside of this form. Let's say I make it something that is slightly gray. So the reason why this is not affecting the entire thing is because this has a background of white. So anything that you change here, you'd have to change it on the other one as well. So let me make this a color which is slightly gray. So I can think in terms of D. So you don't have to know these hexadecimal colors. These are things in CSS. And you can just use the color code here, or if you already have the hexadecimal colors, you can just paste them in there. You can talk to your web designer and they can get the colors from your site for you. I'm also going to show you how you can get the colors from your site using various extensions. This has become slightly gray. Copy. If I want to use the same element on this, let me see which element is going to select this entire form and all its filled elements. So that was body. Which one is body? Okay, yeah. So body is what gives me all this. So let me change the background of body to the same color. Paste. And if I do that, you can see now our form has a general color from the header to the fields, the default text. I can just leave it as it was. You can also change the font color. So remember, whatever you select, that's what you're currently changing, and it's always highlighted with a red border. So if I change the font, let me say I use Verdana, and you can change the font. You can see that's a different font. You can also change the size. If you think 14 is too big, you can change everything down to 12 pixels. So it's entirely up to you. You can change the text color. Maybe you don't like this text color. Or maybe if your background was black, you can change the color to white. Let's just change it to white, and you're going to see that it's not going to be clearly legible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can see there is the color that's being changed there. So for these ones, if you want to change the color, you have to change them on the form. So let's take it back to what it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then what else can we change here? Padding. Okay, so you can also change the padding. So the padding is the spacing, okay? Spacing at the top, spacing to the left, spacing to the right. Like if I change this, let me make this 40, you're going to see this is going to become tinier. So if I make it 50 pixels, you can see that there is more spacing to this side, and the form has not changed because it's a different element. So I'll just take it back to 20. So the same things, if you want to change your form, just click on form, and you can change the font color. Okay, this is for the fill text. You can start from this side. Okay, so I know the form has some elements that may need serious changing. With that in mind, I'm going to end the video here, but I will continue in the next video. And in the next video, we're going to see how we can change the elements in the form. We're going to look at the buttons hovered, and the field labels, field text, required elements, required legends, and all these other elements. We're going to look at them in the next video. If you have any questions, feel very free to let me know. And just as a recap, in this video we've seen how you can change the colors and different elements in the body. Okay, so I will see you in the next video. So if there's anything that I haven't looked at, just click on it. The methodology of changing anything is just the same. So once you learn this, you can change this and anything else on Mailchimp on this form. So I will see you in the next video. Hi and welcome back. In this video, let's continue on from where we left, and we left after designing a few things on the form. So if you want to change anything, just come in here and you can use any of this to design your form. So if you want to change the color, you'll just come there, change the color. You want to change padding and all these other elements, just come in here and change yours the way that you want. In this video, let's see how we can change the color of the button, and we also see how we can change the color of some of these fields if you want to change them. So let me come back into design, and I will go inside of forms, and let's start with the button. So in every browser, whether you're using Firefox, okay, at least Firefox and Chrome, you can install plugins or add-ons that you can use to select a color on a page. Just go to where you can add add-ons on Chrome or Firefox. If you don't know how to do it, just go to YouTube and you'll find many videos on how you can add a plugin to your browser. And once you do that, find a plugin that allows you to add the color. Like for me, I have one here that allows you to select a color on a page. So I'm using the Opera browser, and the Opera browser allows me to select colors using this add-on. And if you use Chrome, there's a plugin called Colorzilla, and if you use Firefox, there's also a version of Colorzilla for Firefox, and you can use that. It doesn't work the same as this, but it's just the same in terms of functionality. So if I click on this, you see it can allow me to select a color on my page. So if I just select that, I can click on it, and then I come here and I copy, and let me close that, and this allows me to use the same color on my button. So when you're adding a color, make sure it has the pound sign, because if it doesn't have the pound sign, then it's not going to be identified as a hexadecimal color. This is a hexadecimal number. So a hexadecimal number, it has 16 digits, 16 possible digits. Like the number system that we use, the numeral system, has 9 possible digits. That is from 0 up to 9. Has 10, actually 10. 0 up to 9, that's 10. And so this hexadecimal usually has 16 possible digits. That's why you can see it's a mixture of numbers and letters. And that's what is used here for the color codes. So you can get these colors and use them. You can get these colors from your website and use them here. So just get a plugin and add-on on your browser, and it will allow you to copy the actual colors and use them here. You've seen the way I've done this on my Opera browser, and you can do the same thing. If you want to use Opera, then go to opera.com and then download Opera and start using it, and then you can install this plugin. It's called Color Picker Eyedropper, and you saw how I used it. So that has changed the color, but now you can see that when I hover, it's still giving me black. So let me take this color and use this as my hover color. So I'll just come back to my color picker and I will hover over that, and then I will copy and then delete it, and then I will come here into buttons hovered. So under buttons hovered, I will paste that like that. And once I paste it, if I hover, you see the color is now the one that I chose, the one that I've changed it to. You can also change the text color if you want to. Even for this one, you can change the text color if you want to. So at some point, I'm going to show you how you can use CSS to change this form. If you want to change these elements in any manner, I'm going to show you how you can use CSS to change this form. So buttons hovered, we've seen this, and then field labels. What do we have here? Field labels. You can change this based on the things that we've seen in the past. Okay, line height. Okay, if you see that elements are squished together, you can increase the line height, let's say double spacing, and you can see now there's more spacing between this element and the text and everything above it. So let me just return it back to this. And you can also change the font family. If you don't like that font, you can change it to Verdana, or you can also change the font size. Let me make it 14 pixels. And if you want to change the color, yeah, you're very familiar with this by now. You can change the color to whatever you want it to be. So that's pretty much it for this. And let's come back into field text. And the field text, this is basically what people type inside here. When people type, so when you click on it, it takes you back to design. It takes you back to build it. Let me click back on design it. We are here under field text. So you can also change that back to Verdana. And then you can change the color to whatever you want. If you want the writing, things that people write here to be blue, you can use blue. 0 0 0 0 FF. So that's the purest blue. Every change that you make, it automatically gets saved on Mailchimp. So you must know the previous thing before you change it. So if I come here and I reload, let's look at the changes that we've made so far. Okay, so that's our form, and you can see the font has also changed. If you want to change the font, go ahead and change the font however that you want it to change. You can change this to whatever you want. Okay, I wanted to check the color when I type. You can see it's now blue. That's what I just changed in the field text. And then required. So this basically just shows the asterisk. So for you to know what this is, we know that this is a required field. So if I click here on required legend, you can see it's not being shown. But if I select here, show, it will show us the required legends. So this is what this one will affect. If I click on required, it changes the color of the asterisk. Okay, as it says here. So if you want to change the color to something that is red, you can change it there. So you can choose a color or use any color that you already have. let's say I want it to be red, so it's going to be FF0000. That should be red, and that's going to change it to red. Okay, so you can change it to whichever color that you want. Just come in here and paste the color, or choose a color from here. Okay, so that's it for this asterisk, this required field. I don't really want to show it, so I'm just going to hide it. And then the help text. So right now, do I have anything with the help text? I don't think I have anything with the help text, but if I did, you can change the color of the help text here. Maybe you want it to be less prominent, so you can make it a color which is far away from black, and black normally is 000. So you can make it a color which is far away from black, maybe something like 9, and you can see that one, or even AAA, that's also far away from black. So you don't have to understand this. These are just things that I know them, so it's much easier for me to know where I'm going with this. But for you, you can just select a color from here, or you can copy a color from your site, and I showed you how you can use a plugin. Okay, so for me, I use the Opera browser, and you can just use this to select a color, but you don't have to be using Opera. There is one for Chrome, and then the same for Firefox add-ons. If you go to settings, there's a place where you can add more add-ons. But nowadays I love to use the Opera browser. It's a very user-friendly browser. So what else is remaining here? We've looked at the help text, even these colors. These errors, you can just change the color. And for some reason, I don't know whether it's Mailchimp's fault or something I've changed, I don't know. But I haven't really changed anything. I've just designed the form based on what was provided for me. If I click on subscribe, at least I should see some feedback telling me that, hey, please enter your email address, because this is required and this is required, and it's just not working the way that it should. So let me say I copy this and I use it on a different browser. Maybe the issue is the browser, who knows. Let me open it on Chrome. Paste and go. This is how my form is also on Chrome. And let me see, if I try to subscribe without filling anything in, you can see that it just doesn't bring any feedback, and it should. Okay, I don't know that it's Mailchimp's fault or there's something that they've changed, but it should bring some feedback to users, telling people that, hey, please enter your email or first name. However, if the same thing is done for a wrong email, if I subscribe, okay, you can see at least this one comes up. So they should also add something like this, and most browsers automatically have something that they can show. So I think Mailchimp should do something about that, because this should automatically give me back some feedback telling me to add my email or add in the required fields, but it's not doing that. Okay, so in this video what we've looked at the form section, and we've seen how you can change some of these elements. You've seen how you can change this. And just by ending this video, you can look at the monkey rewards, and you can change the image to something that is already there. So if you're on the free Mailchimp plan, you can use any of these Mailchimp given ones, and you can use any of them, and I think that's a much better one than that. So you can also change the position where you want to put it at the center. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video, and if you have any questions, feel very free to reach out. So let's look at our form before we end the video. There you go. If you want to edit anything in your form, this is how you edit it. And I also told you how you can change. If you don't like the spacing that is here, you can reduce it, move it down a little bit, or make your element smaller. And at some point I'm going to show you how you can do custom CSS and just add your CSS on your Mailchimp form. So that's pretty much it for this video. If you have any questions, feel very free to let me know. I will see you in the next video, and in the next video, since we're already done with these design things here, let's just see how we can do some custom CSS on our form. And then after that, we're going to see how you can go into translate it and just set up the languages for whichever language that you want to use for your target audience. So it depends to whom are you trying to send a message. If you're sending a message to an audience that speaks Spanish, you may want to use Spanish in your form, and we're going to see how you can translate some of these elements on your form. So I'll see you in the next video when we start writing some CSS for our form. So if you don't want to watch that because you don't know how to use CSS, feel free to skip it, because if you don't know how to use CSS, it's not going to help you much. But maybe if you're hiring somebody to help you do it, you can refer them to that video and tell them that this is how Ricky said it can be done. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I will see you in the next one. Hi and welcome back. So in the last couple of videos, we've seen how we can create our form, how we can build the form, and then design the form so that we can change any kinds of colors, we can change fonts. This is pretty much what we ended up with, but you can change yours however you want to change it. So in this video, I want to show you how you can use custom CSS if you want to change some elements on your form. Maybe you want to make this a full width element. I'm going to show you how to do it. Before I even go into the next step, the secret is in this. So if I click on this, you can see we have this one here, and you can use this to add your custom CSS. So it's not the best practice, but it works. If you add this on your forms are going to have your CSS. As long as Mailchimp allows you to add this, then you can use this to add your CSS. If at any point, maybe in future, they remove it, then there will be nothing you can do about it. But this is how we are going to add our CSS. So the secret to adding the CSS here is to know that this is a HTML editor. If you want to add HTML to something, even on Squarespace, normally the way that you add it, let me increase the font of this first of all. The way that you add it is by using the CSS HTML style tags. So let me make this 22 CSS style tags, and these are the style tags. So you'll put your CSS inside here, and then you'll paste the entire thing inside of Mailchimp. Okay, so let me just add this right away. These are HTML tags that tells the browser that whatever is inside here is CSS, and it should be treated as so. So if I come in here, I can paste them, and I'm going to add all my CSS inside here, and then I'm going to save and close, and we're going to confirm that the changes have taken effect. If you want to change anything here, you can always select an element on the browser if you use Chrome or even Firefox. Safari, I don't know, I've never used Safari. I kind of like Firefox and Chrome, and nowadays I seem to be extremely inclined to using the Opera browser. So if you want to change anything inside here, you can just select an element, and this works like Chrome. Like this Opera browser, it's based on Chrome. So if I select an element, you can see here this thing about inspect element. You can inspect an element, and if you're using Chrome, or if you don't have Chrome, download Chrome and you can follow along with me, because this browser is based on Chrome. Okay, and just one thing, if you don't know how to use HTML and CSS, I have two courses, but there's one that I would recommend for you for HTML and CSS, you can join it and you can learn some of these things. HTML and CSS are very easy to learn. Once you learn them, you don't even have to improve your knowledge. They're just one of those things that if you don't know how to do something, you can Google how to do it and you'll immediately know how to implement it. That's how easy HTML and CSS are to learn. It's not difficult at all. You can take a month to just learn it and continuously polish your skills depending on what you need in future. Are you learning it to use it on something, or are you just learning it to know it? So it entirely depends on your objective. But if you want to learn HTML and CSS, you can just go to bizanosa.com/sp. So you can watch this on full HTML and CSS tutorial for beginners. This one has a bunch of HTML and CSS videos, and there's also a small project, and that's the same project we're going to use in this course to embed Mailchimp forms on a HTML and CSS page. So join this one and just watch it on Udemy or Skillshare, wherever you want to watch it. Just click here and you can join it. Alright, so coming back here, the secret to editing anything on this page is you first of all have to select it. So let's say that I want to reduce the width. So there's a place for you to reduce the width of this, but let me say that I want to use CSS for this. I can just inspect the element. Okay, so once I inspect the element, you can see that's the image. What do we have here? If I add a style, what do I have? Okay, there is no way for me to select it. There is no class of the image. Okay, I can use this. So I can use the masthead and then target this and then target the image. So let's forget about the H1. We don't need to qualify. We don't need to overqualify it with the H1. So the masthead, and then target the image. So I'm only going through this fast because I believe you have some understanding of HTML and CSS. If you don't, you may just skip ahead. So let's say I want to reduce the width of this. I want to increase some spacing on top of it. So the first thing I will do is I will add a padding top. So padding top, and then padding at the top, let's make it 10 pixels. Okay, for some reason the padding is not working, so let me use margin top. So I think the reason why it's not working is because we have the style which has been added here, and since this is not working, I can add important, but if I add it inside here, it's probably going to work because this is going to come after the image. So the way that CSS works is that the element at the bottom always takes precedence. So if I have CSS here and I define it down here again, the one at the bottom will take precedence and the one at the top will be ignored. Let me leave it at 10 pixels and then I will copy it just to confirm that it works. Bring it inside here and I will paste it. So this should affect the image. Let me save and close. Let's see if it's going to affect it or not. So you can see it's not being recognized. It's not affecting it. Maybe this is being added by JavaScript and the JavaScript comes after this. So what we can do is we can just use this very bad practice of important. So if I use important, it's going to work. Copy, and you can see that it's adding the space there for us. So if I come back, edit, and then we'll go inside of the code and I can add important, then save and close. So if I reload the page, this should persist. You know, if you change anything here and you reload the page without saving this on your styles, the changes will not be reflected when you reload the page. But if the change is still reflected once you reload the page, it means that everything is working fine and the style has been added on your CSS on your page. So that's the first thing that we've changed. We've seen how you can change that. So you can use the same mechanism to change anything else on the page. And in the next video, let's see how we can change this so that it can become a full width button. And we can also try to see if we add CSS to hide this item. So I will see you in the next video when we continue from here. Hello and welcome back. So what we are doing in this video is we are going to see how we can increase the width of this using custom CSS. And the first thing that I want to try is I want to see if I can hide this element using CSS. So I'm just going to inspect the element, inspect element. Let's see where it is located. It is located at powered by. So the class is powered by. Let me see. And then powered by img. So we are selecting that img image and let's display none. So if I say display none, you can see it hides it. Let's see if it's going to work when we add it on Mailchimp. So I'll just go in there, come inside there, and then paste it. And if I paste it and I save and close, and then I come back and I refresh, so you can see if I refresh, it's not being shown. And let me just come in here and take this link and open it on a different browser. Let me just open it, paste and go. Alright, so there we go. You can see that it works. And let's see what else we can change. So in this video, the plan was to increase the width of this. So if I select this element, I can increase it however I want. So inspect the element, and then I want to make this button full width. I want to make it the same width. I don't know the width of this. Let me see if there is an actual width for this. Inspect, and I can just use the same width. Okay, so it doesn't have a width. It's probably being done with an automatic width. I don't want to dig deep into this, so let me just go and add this width manually. Inspect the element. So if I just select this element and I come here to add a class so that it cannot automatically add the class for me, and I'll remove the overqualifier because I don't want it to be overqualified. Then let's see if I add a width and make it 100%. Okay, so the width is 100%. Let's see the implications. So if you want to change anything else, you can just try and change it. Maybe you want to increase the font, you want to increase the padding. That's entirely up to you. For now, let me just copy this and I will put it inside of my Mailchimp CSS. And save. and you can see that's how it is. If I refresh, you can see that the changes persist. So that's what we wanted to learn in this video, and we wanted to learn how to increase the width of this. So you can use the same mechanism to change all these other elements. Even if you want to use custom fonts, you can just use them. You can link the fonts from Google and then just use them here if you know how to use custom fonts. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this section about CSS. And if you want to change anything on your form, go ahead and change anything as much as you want to. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. So I will see you in the next video. Hi and welcome back. So in this video, I know I said that we are going to look at translate it, but there's one thing I remembered that I did promise to show you how to do, but I didn't. And that is, if you want to add a background image on this so that it can have a background image, then in this video, I'm going to show you how you can do it. So if you don't know how to use HTML and CSS, as I said, you can just come to bizenosa.com/sp and then you'll go inside of this and you can join it on Udemy or Skillshare. So we want to add a background image, and I don't want to do a lot of CSS in this video. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy the CSS from this. This is a simple project that we created inside of this course. So if you want to see how it was built, you can just come inside here and you'll see how it was built. So I want to copy the code from here and I want to use any one of these images as a background on this. So I'll just come in here and let me inspect element. So I want to copy code from here and I'm going to reuse it on the other one. So if I come inside of header, I want to take the code for background, copy, I'll just paste in the code there. So this is the code that will add a background image for us, and I will change this to body because I want it to affect the entire body of my form. So background, the background color, we want it to be white. So before the image loads, the background color should be white. And then the URL for our image, let's go and copy a URL for the image, and this just means that it should not repeat. This means that it should start from 0, that is at the top 0. So this is how you can center it. Okay, so let me come back here and I want to take one of these images. Let me try and use this. I don't know the size of this one. Copy the image address and I'm going to add the address inside here. Then if I copy this entire thing, copy, I will come back to design it and I'll click on edit, then I will go inside here, and if I paste this, let me paste it in there, and then save. So I can already see an issue with this image, and the issue is that the image is tiny. The image is pretty small, so it's not going to cover the entire width of the page. So let me take this other one. However, an alternative is I can just come in here and if I go inside of inspect, I can change the image from no repeat to repeat. If I make it repeat, it's going to repeat itself so that it can cover the entire width of our page. So if I make it repeat, you'll see that it will repeat itself until it covers the entire width of our page. But I can select the other image because I know this one is much wider and it's much wider. Okay, so how do I get to this image? Inspect element and go inside of header, the easiest way to get to this image, let me come in here and copy this link, copy, and then let me just put it there, paste. Let's see if it brings the image, and there we go, it brings the image. Then I can copy that and let me bring it here. So if you want to use one image, make sure it's a big one. If you want it to be tiled, you can see this one has been tiled repeatedly until it covers the entire page. If that's not what you want, then make your image big. There we go. And let's change the URL of our image. Save and close. Okay, you can see that is much better, but it also seems to be a little tiny. Let's just see how it's going to be. All right. Okay, so it's pretty huge. You can see this one is much bigger than the other one, and some of it is not really visible as such. So you know what, we can go one step further, and let me see, inspect element. Let me see if I can move this to this side. So wrapper, no. Masthead, no. Is there any one thing that takes this entire form? Unfortunately, there isn't. Okay, it could be this one. No. Yeah, it's actually this one. So, template container. So the template container, let me move it to this other side. Let me see if I say float left. Okay, float left. So instead of float, let's just use left. Left. Okay, so for me to use these positioning things, I need to give it some kind of a position. So let's say position relative. Position relative, and then this one, I can use something like negative. Negative 20%, negative. So of course, this is something that will have to be inside of a what's it called? Inside of a media query. Okay, so a media query is a way for you to make some images, some elements on your page appear differently on different browsers. So you can do it such that this is only available in a media query, so that when we resize it down, it doesn't look weird. Okay, so if you understand CSS, these are some things that you know what they mean. Like you can see now, this is moved all the way to the other side, and we don't want that on small devices. So we can enclose this inside of a media query, and let me just open this. I just want to go in there and paste it. So we can use a media query like media screen and a minimum width for this to take effect. Let's say maybe 980 pixels, and And then background color, this one doesn't really matter. And then position left, position relative. Yeah, these are things that we want to happen when the screen is minimum width of that. So any screen that is 979 and below will not be affected with this. So let's just copy and I'll bring it inside here and edit, go inside there, so let's make this 20, then I'll save. So let's just refresh and you can see that's how our page is on Mailchimp. So let's resize it down, and if we resize it, you can see that it doesn't affect it when the screen is small, except for the one that I added at the top. So this is something that you should also take care of. Okay, so you can see that since I added this, and Mailchimp should do a better job of this, since I added this element, where was it? Somebody remind me. I think it was inside of is it in body? Inside of body, or is it on the form? It's not on the form. Is it on the page? Yes, it's on the page. And then on the header, since I added this negative 70 pixels, you can see that it affects it on small devices. So you may not want to do this. You can actually add this in CSS. Okay, so you can add this on CSS using custom CSS, just like I showed you, and the rest will not get affected. So if you use media queries, it's going to ensure that the CSS doesn't get affected. So let me just add this inside of that media query. Inspect element. So I'll detach this. I don't want it to affect what I'm seeing. So what I want to do is I want to make this go back to where it was. So H1 masthead, I think it's the masthead. Masthead. Let me just make it cancel out with the other one. Margin top. Margin top, let's make it 70 pixels. Alright. So 70 pixels is going beyond where we wanted it to go. So let's make it 40. How about 0? Yes, 0 seems to be doing a better job. Okay, you can even make it negative 10 pixels. Okay, so negative 10 pixels. Copy. Then I can put that inside of the media query. Edit. Where is our media query? There we go. And I will save that. Come back here and refresh. So the best thing that you can do in this case is instead of changing this here, we can just leave this at 0 pixels, and then you can change it manually using CSS, now that you know how to change it with CSS. So let me just remove this bit. Save and close. Maybe I was using the wrong selector, but I don't have time to get into that, and the video is becoming extremely long for me, so I'm going to end it there. Okay, so you can see even this one has come down. So what you need to do is you need to push it up, and you can do that using CSS. Okay. Okay, so that's it for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know, and in the next section, in the next video, let's see how you can translate the form. It's a very simple and easy process, and by now you've probably looked at it yourself and seen how it's done. So I'll see you in the next video.